Oh, what? Oh, okay. I'll fix it, don't worry. I'll fix everything here. Everything in the world will be fixed. I got this. We can do this, boys. The power of science. I didn't get this wrong. We are on chapter 5, right? Let me see here. Yes, last chapter is chapter 4, so that means we must be on chapter 5. Logically speaking, of course. Logically. Yes. Now, one thing that's slightly different. Okay, hopefully this is not breaking everything. Or not destroying the laws of physics or anything. I don't have my Xbox controller plugged into my PC. I said to myself, what if... Like, well, first I tried to plug in the wireless adapter I have for it. It wouldn't fit. I mean, it would fit in the port that's available, but there's another thing next to it, and the thing is too big to fit if that other thing's plugged in. And I need that other thing plugged in. I need all my other things plugged in. And so I cannot do that. But I said to myself, but I don't want to deal with the wire. And so I've discovered that apparently my Xbox controller can just natively work with my PC now as a Bluetooth device. So I could just open it up and say, hey, Windows, can you detect my thing? And it'll say yes, and I don't have to have anything plugged in. And it just works, which is nice. My last, I remember I looked into trying this before. And it did not work, and that was because my old motherboard did not support that. My new motherboard does, and I say new, but it's not really new. But it's a whole thing. Oh my god. Let's go. You know, I don't actually see Chaos Head open on my end. I don't know where it went. But it has to be open because I can hear it. It has to be. It's gotta be there somewhere. Nothing is working. Based! Based! Hold on 1 second. While we attempt to fix everything in the world. Okay, the game now shows up at least. The camera does not, and I don't know why. What did I do? It's plugged in. There we go. Oh my god, whoa, holy shit, hello Shadow, welcome. Welcome. Slightly different changes, we've made some adjustments to our viewer here. Some slight adjustments, okay, I was able to make the screen slightly bigger. I probably could make it even more bigger, but at a certain point my camera's just gonna be so tiny. I'm just not even gonna be here, okay, I'm just not even gonna be here. I still don't know what I should put in that other empty space, so for now that's just where I'm gonna put all the other links and stuff. I don't know. I put 2 things in the top area because I'm like, I gotta put something in the top and bottom areas. No matter how I move this around, if I want it so that my camera and the chat are not directly blocking things on the screen, and I want like the full screen to be there, aside from like the corners for stylistic reasons, then I'm gonna have empty space in the top and the bottom, no matter what I do. If I play anything that's not like Jack and Daxter, where it's like a square, you know. So I just put those up there for now. We got follow goals and the sub goals. Right now we got 2 subs. We want to go for 5. That's the current goal, okay? What happens at that? I don't know. Something will happen at that time. Something will happen. We'll celebrate somehow. The 700 followers, that would be based too. That'd be real based. Again, I don't see the game on my end. I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. Where are you? Doko? Game wa doko desu ka? Wait, hold on. I have things that should not be open anymore. I have things that should not be open anymore. There we go. Alright, I see things now. And the controller, completely wireless. I don't have to deal with shit anymore. We're good. We're based. And let me pull the stream on my phone, then we're really ready to go. And we're really ready to go. And then I gotta turn my AC. It's actually kind of annoying. I mean, it's kind of a good problem to have. My problem is that a lot of my clothes are now too big for me from all the weight loss recently. Especially fucking pants. Holy shit, dude. We got new regular pants, but like night pants I still need to get more. Because this shit just keeps fucking... I have this shit like super tied around, and it still falls down sometimes. I'm losing too much weight, dude. I'm losing too much. I'm just being too based. Alright. It's time for our mental breakdown to begin, boys. It's time to lose it. We're gonna fucking lose it. Wait, why is it not counting that? There we go. Let's do like that. There you go. Like that. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, controller turned off. Turn back on. Right. Are you gonna connect to the PC? Hello? Oh no. This is not connected to the PC. Do I have to do this every single time? What the hell was that about? Connect new device. Why did you not remember it? What do you mean not connected? Of course it's connected. What do you mean not connected? What are you talking about? It literally worked before, and now I didn't use it for a while, and then it said, fuck you, there is no device. Alright, hold on. There it is. What do you mean try again? What? Are you fucking serious? Look! I literally just had it working! Are you fucking serious? Then die. What do you want me to do? Argue with you? Bro! It was working. It was perfect. Life was good. Life was good. I still see... Okay, wait. I think I did it again. I think we're good. Okay. Do not let this controller go to sleep. Because then, shit's fucked. Do not let it go to sleep. Do not go to sleep. Alright. Let's begin the mental breakdown. As usual. Okay, problem. We're having a problem here. Okay, we are continuing to have problems here. says my controller's connected. I can move around on the Windows menu, but on the actual game, it no work. Alright, well, guess I'll go fuck myself. You know, just when I thought I had a nice, good thing, it just had to kill it. That's based. That's based, TVH. Honestly, it's kinda based. So, screw Bluetooth. We don't mess with that again. Not in this house. And we go ahead and grab the cable we usually use. I can't have nice things. Good thing is we can't have those. It's not allowed. You would think it would be shrimple. Okay. We are not going to sit around for another song. We are ready to go. We are... Okay, the game's not registering this now, too. Okay, problem. Alright, we're gonna do a neat little thing where we just restart that real quick. We're gonna try that. We're gonna try a whole restart the game meme. Let's see if that works. Part of me thinks that restarting it while setting it with the Bluetooth would also work, but I don't want to mess with that anymore. Fuck that shit. Not tonight. It's already ruined my mood with it. Okay, I think it's working. I think... Yeah, okay, we're good. We're good now. We're good. Alright, it's time to begin. Alright, continue. Load. Chapter 5, Delusion. What's everything else been up until now? I don't even... Okay. Alright, move this down. To no one's surprise, the leaked video of the group dive exploded. Grimm had told me the entire internet was going insane, and lo and behold, he wasn't lying. A huge chunk of that channel is now convinced that all 4 new-gen murders have been committed by the same person. They were all me, of course. Duh. Okay, this time we will not accidentally skip everything like I did last time, okay? I remember I accidentally skipped everything at some point, and I'm very upset about that still, to this day. I'm very upset about that. I don't remember what it was trying to say. I think it was something involving Fest lyrics, okay? And we skipped all of that. So that's a little upsetting. That's fine. If you're a VOD watcher, you were able to read all of that, and I'm proud of you, but I did not. Name, Miser. Okay, I'm not going to read... I mean, I guess we'll know some of the names. Miser from Connecticut. Whose eyes are those eyes is the new Gen Killer's signature move. School dropout to be. Shizuoka. I'm assuming that's a place, right? The guy who'd upped it to Mewtwo has to be the perp. W-E-A-T-E. Wiite? Wiate? Whose eyes are those eyes? This is supposed to be an acronym. Is so fucking sweet. Okay, I'll report that immediately. Whoa! Whose eyes are... That was from Night Guard, from Hyogo. White collar worker from Oregon said, TLDR, W-E-A-T-E was written out at the scene of the vampire, yeah? That means there's a connection between the first and the last case, despite all the people saying they had nothing to do with each other, which then means that the man-child and cruxification cases also had to be connected. Damn, I'm getting way too into this. Rookie baseball player from Ibaraki. Whose eyes are those eyes? And they're like doing like a little weird symbols or whatever. Lion dancer at Sky City said, also WEATE's first appearance was at the vampires case, so it couldn't possibly have copied the group dive. No, don't look, let smoke WEATE every day. That was from Secretary at Kanagawa. Wage Slave in Niigata said, I saw the video, but it looks fake as shit. Some actors just did it for views. I bet 1 perica on it. A whole perica? I don't even know what that means. Okay, the pilot. Oh, we got a new tip about a perica. All right, pilot from the stratosphere. Just from the stratosphere in general? You twats really ought to stop using whose eyes or whatever the fuck so often. The killer just wants attention, you're giving it to him. Plastic surgeon from Mie. The same dude did all the new gen murders? Panicking face. Total dumb fuck in Chichijima. Whose eyes are those eyes? And then they're just doing like emotes or whatever. Okay, we got some memers in the chat. We got some memers. Quite a few memers actually. How do I? This is not the button for it. It was this one. Okay, we have Pandora's box. A box given to mankind by the gods in Greek mythology. The people were told never to open it, but a woman named Pandora gave in to her curiosity and opened it anyways, unleashing the many calamities held inside upon the world. It is said that the only thing left remaining in the box was hope. TLDR. Net slang, short for too long, didn't read. Typically used to request a short summary of a lengthy post or thread. It can also refer to the summary itself. Parika. A fictional unit of cursing that appears in a certain manga. Which manga? Which manga does a Parika? Is this another JoJo reference? This wouldn't be a JoJo reference, right? Is this a One Piece thing? Which manga is this from? Alright. Napping at Yamanashi. Nah, the tower in that vid's actually just 2 meters tall, and there's a trampoline or something below it, LMAO. Psychometer from Kamchatka. Agreed. If that phrase keeps being a trend, there will keep being murders. Y'all need to tone it the fuck down. It's not just a meme anymore. And then at the end they wrote, whose eyes are those eyes? Oh my god. Film connoisseur from Seto Inland Sea. Is this the one from Persona 3? I live in Shibuya. QQ, LMAO. Obligatory, don't look. 17-year-old office lady in Kanto. Those exist? The Mewtwo video. It's topping the charts. The view count. It's skyrocketing. It's so brutal, don't look, guys. LMAO. Chieftain from Tokyo. Time to make the MHK's news top report. Woot! Interior design from Western Japan. Anything from the part behind whose eyes are those eyes yet? Yeso Scallop Cultivator from Tokyo. Breaking news taking over every station. Woohoo! Except to TV, though. LOL. I don't know what that last part means, but the news on TV was just as erratic. Like 140 had said, every available station, save for 2TV, had been interrupted by the breaking news, where they'd played the leaked video on loop. The broadcast had lasted for about an hour. It was pretty shocking to see that footage and had actually been broadcast across the entire country. Of course, all the stations censored the part where they dived off the building at the end, but it was still extremely impactful. The opinions of those on TV were more or less the exact same as everyone's online. They all attributed the 4 new-gen cases to the same culprit. Then again, that wasn't really much of a surprise. They had finally found a common denominator between them, after all. Whose eyes are those eyes? It's the phrase. And it had become a popular phrase all throughout Shibuya. The phrase had first been shown to the world when the details behind the 4th case, the vampire, were shared. People then learned that the victims of the group dive had said it as well, even though it occurred a month before the vampire case. I like as well how nobody at our school remembers seeing those words just randomly written on the wall when the story began, because that happened and it made us freak the fuck out. But and then the teacher laughed and then erased it or whatever. So nobody at school remembered that happened, apparently. Because I feel like if the new gen case is really all everybody talks about, including Misumi-kun or whatever, if Misumi-kun's even real, if anybody's even real, then somebody would have noticed that connection. In the 4 incidents that have occurred so far, it had been used in both the first and the last one. It had to mean something. It made the theory that a single person was behind the murders all the more probable. The police then held a press conference stating that they intended to identify the person who'd posted the video as soon as they could. A number of politicians commented that the actions of the culprit were completely deplorable and that they needed to be apprehended immediately. The Mewtwo video had been removed by a moderator less than 3 hours after it was uploaded, but by then, it was too late. @Channel had already gotten their hands on it, and from there, nothing could... Wait, hold on. Is this thing still going? Yeah, okay, we're good. Wait, where's my thing? Okay, alright, we're good. Atchan had already gotten their hands on it. From there, nothing could have stopped it from being re-uploaded and spreading like wildfire. And then, just before midnight, the following facts had been revealed through a police statement. The group dive upload was uploaded from a computer located in a Shibuya manga cafe known as @channel. It was uploaded from a specific private room in the facility, room number 37. Well, we're fucked. Anybody could have been there, though. Anybody could have been in that room, though. Anybody could have been in there, not just me. I sat paralyzed in my seat, my head hanging low as I hugged myself tightly. Without realizing it, I had started eavesdropping. I had become hypersensitive to the voices coming from my surroundings. I overheard a lot of conversations, and, unsurprisingly, the group dive video was the topic on everyone's minds. Some girls were even joking, saying to each other, "Whose eyes are those eyes?" I bit my lip and let my gaze wander onto the surface of my desk. Oh, God. That video was evidence. Evidence that Shogun actually existed. Evidence that I hadn't killed anyone. It proved that I didn't have multiple personalities. That the old-looking man in a wheelchair was the new gen killer. But why would Shogun even upload it? Why would he hint at himself being the killer when the culprit's identity had been shrouded in mystery so far? Only two explanations made sense to me. One, Shogun was showing off by killing people because it amused him, which was pretty likely considering that time when he'd appeared in front of me. Or, he was trying to provoke me. For some reason, Shogun and his underling, Yua, were doing everything in their power to fuck with me. I didn't know the reason why, I just knew that they were trying to frame me as the new gen culprit. At this point, even the police were probably suspicious of me. Shogun was trying to corner me.
僕のメッセージは受け取ってくれた？目覚めるんだ。早く。
Hey, wake up! Wake up, talk to
出
me!
ないと
If you don't,
もっとたくさんの人が
everyone's gonna
忘れ
die.
ないで。君は逃げちゃいけない。
Oh my god. I'm still trying to figure out a better place for my mic or whatever. I feel like it blocks my face too much. Maybe if I put it here. Maybe that's fine. When he appeared in front of me, that's what he said. That was what he said. It felt like he'd been trying to intimidate me, and he was basically saying, "I'm going to kill you too. Don't you dare run away." And now he totally blindsided me by uploading that video and making sure that it spread all throughout Japan. There was no doubt that Shogun had moved his plan to the next phase. It'd been naive to think that I wasn't being targeted anymore. If anything, it'd be more accurate to say that his plotting against me had moved from passive to active. It was now finally in swing. I was terrified, especially of that video. Shogun had killed 5 high schoolers without even lifting a finger, despite being even worse off physically than me. If all the new gen cases were actually his doing, then all those other gruesome murders, the man-child, crucifixion, and vampire, had all been enacted by that same frail body. Or maybe Yua helped him out. In any case, I didn't have any faith that I'd be able to defend myself against people who'd commit such horrible atrocities. Just thinking of them sent chills down my spine. Chills that combined with the red, hot anger I was feeling. Why was I being targeted like this? What did I do to deserve it? And there was also that message, whose eyes are those eyes? Atrocities. Welcome, Justin. Welcome. Welcome to the mental breakdown tonight. If I wasn't careful, I would start trembling uncontrollably. To keep that under control, I had to keep my body from relaxing. I had to always be aware of my surroundings and be ready to bolt the second I sensed someone approaching. I didn't know when Shogun or Yua would show themselves again. Yua's like at your school, so it's not that crazy if you see her here. She's like at your school. Hell, I had no guarantee that Yua was Shogun's only underling. Maybe even my own classmates were under his influence, their laughter and idle chatter acting as mere camouflage until just the right moment. I had to. This is where we start believing everybody around us are like fucking lizard people. Is that what's going on here? We're just gonna go into that. I had to find a way to parry surprise attacks. Oh my god, just like those several animes. That one anime this season, though, right? I parry everything. We got to parry the surprise attacks, like the one in Ad Channel yesterday. If I didn't, I'd be killed next time for sure. I needed to get my D sword ASAP. The only way to get out of this was to get a D sword. I'd internalized what Ayasa and Senna had said, and I'd searched online about it, and it all had me convinced. Getting my hands on a D sword would save me. The night before, I desperately tried to gather information on D swords while keeping an eye on the new gen shitstorm, but my research barely bore any results. Why are you freaking out? What happened? I cradled my head, tearing at my greasy hair. How was I supposed to find a D sword? Just find it. I don't know how. You just find it. You just do. Just believe in yourself, and maybe you'll find it. I say had said that, but that was barely even a hint. My thoughts weighed heavily on me. I was starting to freak out. My heart was steadily getting crushed by anxiety. I needed to hurry and find a D sword. Whatever it took, I had to find one. If I didn't, I'd be done for. Before becoming New Gen's next victim, I had to find one. But I needed to find out how. I had no clue how you were supposed to get one. I needed some kind of hint, something, anything. I had to figure it out fast, or I'd lose my chance at finding it. Was I even capable of finding one? This was no time to be at school. It was my own life or graduating. I didn't need to debate which one was more important. And yet, why was I... See, the important thing too, and I think I said this last time, but can't you just have ISA just say how she got hers? Like, what she had to do, and then, like, we figure something out from that. We didn't think to ask her that, or... I don't remember if he did ask that. Sensing someone approaching me, I quickly raised my head and braced myself for contact. Oh my god, it's her. Rimi was standing there, blinking repeatedly, as if she'd been stunned by my sudden movement. I made you jump? Stop scaring me like that. All the stress in my body released at once, and I crumpled on top of my desk with a big sigh. No, we are not fine here. We are not fine. Fulfilling her usual quota, Rimi peered into my face. I hurriedly lowered my eyes. Yeah, you haven't seen anything yet. Yeah, I do that. Okay, listen, I'm a gamer. It happens. Was Rimi with me or against me? An ally or an enemy? Are you a lizard person? After she'd saved me, I'd grown a lot less wary of her. But there were still a ton of unanswered questions that I had yet to figure out. Like why she'd been covered in blood at the scene of Cruxification. Or how we were supposed to be such good friends, and then we'd been close... Or how we were supposed to be such good friends, and that we'd been classmates since our first year, yet I had no recollection of it. Probably. But they're probably a lizard person too, so maybe not the nurse. Rimi tilted her head slightly, a worried expression on her face. I turned away from her. I couldn't say it to her face. When the classes for the day finally ended, I felt like every ounce of energy had been drained from my body. Even during class, all I had done was remain on high alert, repeatedly scanning my surroundings. I hadn't slept since yesterday, but staying this vigilant kept me wide awake. The school day felt like an eternity, and the sheer amount of time I had spent there sent me spiraling into a deep depression. Why is it that the way we perceive time changes depending on our mood? Some say that time flows at a constant rate, but that might not actually be true. The speed of time changes depending on each person's subjective perspective. I've always theorized that it's a conspiracy to homogenize humanity's understanding of the concept of time by implementing units like seconds and hours. Also, they could deceive people into forgetting that perception of time varies from person to person. Holy shit. We're like logic dumping this shit. We're like like hardcore theorizing as we lose our mind and think about lizard people, you know? And building off that theory, if the length of time is dependent on each person's perception, then, conversely, doesn't that mean that the flow of time can be controlled at will? As I thought about that, I remembered Senna talking about controlling other people's wills. And conversely...
生まれながらに目が不自由な人でも目の前にある景色がちゃんと見えるようになる。ビデオカメラ
Video data from a camera is converted into electrical signals that are sent directly to the brain, causing the person to observe the sequence of images. Conversely, that would mean converting the images that a person observes into electrical signals, then sending them to equipment that can render video. The aforementioned equipment didn't have to be a video camera either. For example, what would happen if you connected a person to a hard disk recorder, then showed them recordings of someone's vacation? What if instead of real-life recordings you showed them an anime? Technically, anime is 2D and therefore delusionary. But people who are blind from birth have never seen anything from the 3D world. So if they were shown an anime and told this is how the world is, then they would believe that the 2D world is reality, right? That is fucked up to think about. To that person, that delusion would either be their reality, a delusion perceived as reality. All right. What do we start with, boys? Positive or negative delusion? What do we start with? I found out. I was trying to find this. I found out that our choices for the first playthrough do not matter towards the ending game. In our other playthroughs afterwards, you're basically locked into the same ending no matter what you choose for your first playthrough, and then you're supposed to keep playing afterwards to get the other endings, to continue on the story. So, whatever we pick here won't drastically change things for the end result. But what do we want to see here? I think we'll start off with a positive, see what happens. Probably. Let's see. Here's another example. A person A sent an image from their brain to a hard disk recorder that processed it and transmitted the image to person B's brain, then person A's delusion would become person B's reality. Delusion becomes reality. In theory, it was possible. Holy shit, I was a genius, LMAO. I was over the moon by how brilliant my theory was. Maybe that was how I'd acquire a D-sword. ISA had said they had something to do with delusions, hadn't she? I mean, there's supposed to be like delusion sword, I'm assuming, but... Alright, I should hurry up and go home so I can look it up. We're just gonna leave? We're just out? Okay. I left the classroom and headed for the school entrance, refusing to let my eyes wander anywhere. As I made my way out, I stuck to my usual routine, walking as close to the wall as I could, all while keeping my head low so that I wouldn't stand out. The final bell had already rung a little bit ago, so while the students on cleaning duty or doing club shit were still around, basically everyone who opted to go straight home already had. School always felt somewhat lonely or even wistful after the final bell rang. No matter where I went, it always felt that way, whether they were ancient buildings made of wood or newer structures like Swing Me. Well, not that I ever set foot in any wooden school buildings in anything other eroge. As I unconsciously walked through the corridor under the setting sun, my mind wandering around all sorts of inconsequential stuff, I spotted a strange figure coming towards me. It was a single girl waddling forward, carrying 2 large cardboard boxes. I couldn't see her face behind the boxes, but and she was probably couldn't see a thing in front of her. Someone was asking to eat shit. If this were an eroge, this scenario would 100% result in us running into each other and me tripping a flag. I thought about attempting to do just that, but concluded that it'd be best to keep it as just a thought because in reality, I didn't want to actually do it. Instead, my alarm bell started going off. There was a legitimate possibility that she was one of Shogun's assassins. Stay away from her. Be extremely careful. I paid extra careful to each of her steps. Careful attention, whatever. She kept drawing nearer, sometimes tilting to the left or to the right. I, meanwhile, kept walking along the left wall of the corridor. As the girl started moving to her right, I sped up. We then passed each other without any issues. But right then, I heard something fall, and I quickly turned my gaze downward without even thinking. Uh-oh. I can already... Okay, alright, we're good. Someone had dropped their student handbook. I stopped in my tracks. Had the girl with the boxes dropped it? As I stared at the student handbook, my thoughts began to wander. Doubt arose in my mind. Why had that student handbook fallen at that exact moment? It was way too conspicuous. It was practically begging to get picked up. Was it a trap? Had she dropped it on purpose? The girl had been carrying boxes with both hands. Her hands were occupied. If a student handbook had been in her skirt pocket, it would have been entirely impossible for her to take it out and drop it. However, I hadn't seen where it had fallen from. Maybe the girl had been holding it from the very beginning, hiding it beneath the boxes. I wasn't sure. It might not have been on purpose. The most realistic option was that it was just a coincidence. I followed the girl's figure with my eyes, or tried to anyway. At that precise moment, the girl took a turn down the hall and disappeared. I had only seen her for a split second. She hadn't looked like someone I knew. Her hair had been short, I think? No, maybe it had been long, actually. I couldn't say for sure which. Naturally, I hadn't seen her face either. When I passed her, it had been hidden behind the boxes. The student handbook and I were now alone in the hallway. The sensible options were to either pick it up and deliver it to the staff room, or rush after the girl and ask her about it, but I was hesitant to carry out either. I looked around me. There were no other students in sight. I could somewhat make out the sound of girls laughing happily in the distance. It probably wasn't a trap. Probably. The handbook's owner had already left. How could this possibly end up being a trap? Could there be a small bomb inside the handbook? No, that was way too unrealistic. If I picked up the handbook right at that moment, nothing would happen. Yeah, nothing was going to happen. Nothing will happen. Not a thing. Just in case, I should check the handbook to see who the girl was. She could have been one of Shogun's underlings. I should check her name, class, and photo, and then leave the handbook there. I couldn't be fucked to go after her and give it back. Nevertheless, I still carefully scanned the area just to be sure no one was around. Then, after I was sure I was alone, I picked up the handbook and casually opened it to the first page. Whose eyes are those eyes? With the like an emoji? The names and stuff are all just gone. So, okay. I'm sorry, I picked positive delusion, right? This is the positive delusion here? I hurriedly threw the handbook away. What was that? I'd never been so creeped out before. It was so unbelievably eerie. It didn't just scare me. I felt sick to my stomach. It was very clearly malicious, blatant harassment aimed specifically at me. Who would go so far as to do this? Wait, of course, it had to be the girl from before. That girl was actually Shogun's underling. She had to be. I only glanced at the student handbook, but all the information that should have been on the first page, such as the name, birth date, and the class, were blacked out. Look, we've had odd or positive delusions. We had the actual delusion thing trigger, though, right? The thing, boing, boing, psh, and then, like, you're supposed to have the delusion? Is this supposed to be the positive delusion? Oh, no. Our expectation of what's a delusion, what's not, are breaking down, boys. It's breaking down in real time. In addition, the portrait that should have been attached was removed. It felt like I was going to puke. I was hit with an intense wave of nausea. I wanted to get out of there as soon as possible. Covering my mouth, I moved towards the stairs. I ran through the courtyard with no real destination in mind, until I could no longer hold back the urge to vomit. The second I fell to my knees, the entire contents of my stomach began spilling out. Okay. Positive delusion, by the way. The stomach acid made my throat burn. My vision blurred from tears. It was hard to breathe. The aftertaste was absolutely vile. I must have been way more maxed than I thought I was. It might have been because of the all-nighter I'd pulled. As I wiped the corners of my mouth, I looked all around me relentlessly, but I couldn't see a soul. However, the shadowy corners and the blind spots I never really paid attention to had become terrifying to me. I began to think that Yua and Shogun might be hiding in them. Yeah, the positive part is that we didn't fall for Shogun's trap. True. The second my brain came up with that, I could no longer take a single step. Someone save me. I wanted to cry. I felt nauseous all over again. All we had to do was go home. All we had to do was go home, boys. We just had to go home. That was it. I didn't end up vomiting, but I dry heaved several times. The pain made me cry even harder. I was nearly sobbing at this point. But then suddenly someone's hand began to gently rub my back. Who's this? Who are you? Terrified, I turned around.
大丈夫。
Daijobu. It'll be Daijobu. Everything's fine. Everything is fine, Takumi. Okay. Remy was there.
大丈夫だよ。
I wasn't being condemned for feeling this way. No. Her words were a tender affirmation.
私はタクの味方だから。
Oh my god. We have a friend. Or she's just really doing the long game and will destroy us and will kill us. That's now outside the realm of possibility. She's a lizard person, definitely. She didn't even so much as grimace at the smell of my vomit. She didn't show any signs of disdain when she saw my face covered in tears and snot, nor when she saw the vomit still clinging to the corners of my mouth. She simply gave me a gentle smile, reassuring me that it would all be okay. She drew closer to me. She continued rubbing my back gently. Why was it that, before and even now, every time I thought I need to be saved, Remy would always heroically appear in front of me? Right now, Remy was right here. It reassured me. I felt better. Before I even realized what was happening, my true feelings began to pour out. Despite the fact that I never talked about myself.
助けて。一人は怖いんだ。
Damn. Maybe that was why I bothered coming to school. Up until now, I'd always thought that I'd be way better off alone. Of course, even now, it was still terrifying to talk to others. I wasn't at all confident in my ability to actually talk to anyone, but with Shogun and Yua trying to destroy my life, I had never been so anxious, scared, and alone. I wanted someone to be there for me. They didn't even need to be nice to me. I just wanted someone to be present.
一人は怖い。
だったら私が一緒にいてあげる。
Those words held no ill will, no hesitation, no irresolution.
さすがに24時間ずっとは無理だけど。
Her shy gaze suddenly moved up towards the sky. Her eyes were looking so far away. What could she be looking at in the sky?
朝一緒に学校行って、学校では休み時間にどうでもいいこと話して、お昼休みは一緒にご飯食べて、夕方一緒に帰って、帰るついでにたまにどこかのお店に寄ったりして、タクの部屋でちょっとだけおしゃべりして、それでまた明日ねって手を振って別れて、そんなのでいいなら私いくらでもしてあげるよ。
Oh my god, that's...
そういうの
Holy shit.
結構憧れなんだ。
Sorry, that's all sounds nice and all, but I still think you're a lizard person and a murderer, and I don't trust you, okay? So, it's just what it is. I just prefer 2D. That's just how it goes. Wasn't that kind of almost like being in a relationship? I was stunned. She was completely serious. I could see it on her face.
どうして。
Alright, now I see the positive delusion. Are we just gonna wake up after all that? He's gonna be like, oh my god, finally! She'll save me! She can fix me! And then he wakes up. And then she's just immediately there like, the fuck is your problem? Fucking nerd.
どうしてそこまでしてくれるの。
それは
Because? A flag, if I'd ever seen one, right? Because I love you, Taku. I could see it coming from a mile away. It had to be what she was going to say, right? Granted, I had no clue why Rumi would have fallen for me. No, wait. This shit had to be bait. Something similar had happened before with Yua. With her, it had all been nothing more than deception, ending with me drowning in the depths of despair. So I couldn't get my hopes up. I had to prepare for the worst. What a tragedy that would be, although I'm kind of expecting it at this point. It was possible that Remy, too, wasn't end up...
ビシッ
What? What? She suddenly saluted me. I was taken aback by the suddenness of it, and my mind shot to the possibility that she was about to reveal her true self. And yet, all that I saw in Remy's face was that the same bright, gentle smile.
そんなの友達だからに決まってるでしょ。私にしてみればタクを助けてあげるのは当然なの。どうしてとか寂しいこと言わない。わかった？
Okay, it's not that easy to not be a sad sap, okay? Sure, okay, him having a GF would probably fix him, okay? Him having an actual girl, okay, would probably fix him, alright, but, maybe not entirely fix him, but, you know, it'll help him out a lot. But, you know, I also feel like you're a lizard person, and I don't trust you, and you're a murderer, and the government is trying to poison our cell phones into microwaving our ears, okay? So, we can't have it. If she'd said, because I love you, Taku, and this is how I'm going to show it, it would have felt like my life had begun anew. But even if we'd be friends, that alone made me incredibly happy. Having someone being kind to me, having someone do things for me without expecting anything in return, I couldn't believe how happy it made me. It might have been the very first time I'd ever felt like that, but above all else, it made me realize that I wasn't alone. To me, Remy's existence was my salvation. The nausea I'd felt earlier had finally subsided, and I was feeling much better.
はい。使う？
Remy held out a vermilion handkerchief. It had a faint floral scent. I meekly accepted it, but I was hesitant to use it.
汚しちゃっていいよ。タクにあげる。
ありがとう。
I felt guilty about it, but I ultimately decided that I would accept her generosity. I wiped off the vomit that had stained the corners of my mouth with the handkerchief. It was the first time I had ever received a present from a girl that wasn't a family member. I wasn't so sure about calling it a present, though. For me, someone who was so isolated and helpless, even a simple thing like this felt like an irreplaceable treasure to me. I felt so delighted, so relieved that I nearly started to cry all over again.
それじゃあ帰ろっか。
Let's mosey on home, boys. Her voice was so carefree.
一緒に。
And then we wake up, right? Apparently she had already intended to make good on what she'd said before, that she'd stay by my side. Not that I told her whether I wanted her to do it or not. But it wasn't like I had any intention of saying no. Being alone terrified me. I didn't want to be alone. Oh shit. Stay. Do not hit the mic. Do not hit the mic, Wolfborg. Do not hit the mic. Just leave it. Just don't hit it. It's not hard. As I was now, I had no one to rely on but Remy. However, I still couldn't say that I was stable now, even with Remy with me. On the way back, I chose to take a different route than usual, walking cautiously all the way. I couldn't stop trembling. Every corner with even an inch of shadows... Oh my god, it's the fucking radiator. The one that makes you see, like, dots. I'm not crazy. Here, in these, like, spaces in, like... I'm trying to read the text and I just keep seeing the dots in these spaces. I just keep seeing the dots. I keep seeing them and it fucks with me. It's real. I'm not crazy. Every corner within an inch of shadow seemed dangerous. Every time I got to any kind of intersection, I was tormented by delusions of Yua or Shogun waiting for me at the end of it, making me freeze in place. Whenever that happened, Remy would take over. She would look over towards the end of the intersecting road, and when the coast was clear, she'd nod to me.
大丈夫。誰もいないよ。
Relieved, I followed after her. Everything she'd done without even a hint of irritation.
ねえ。聞いていいかな。
No. It's not gonna end well. Don't do it.
一体何があったの？
The heck happened? Bad lunch? I was slightly hesitant to tell her. If I said something here, Remy could become a target for Shogun. I would get her involved.
話したくないなら無理に話さなくても。
いや、
No. I'll
話すよ
tell you. We'll tell you. My mouth had already started moving. I definitely didn't feel comfortable with the prospect of getting her involved, but if I didn't explain to her what was happening here, she wouldn't be able to understand the gravity of the situation. For the sake of my well-being, I had to turn a blind eye to the possibility that it might put her in danger. She'd been the one who said she'd stay by my side, so I was sure she'd be fine with it. So I told her everything. I told her that Shogun was the actual new-gen culprit, that Yua was one of his underlings, that they were both stalking me. When it happened in front of 107 the other day, I laid it all bare, albeit not without a fair share of stuttering. That's kind of weird, Takumi. I don't know if that's a lot to handle. I don't think we can go out anymore. I don't think you should talk to me. I'm gonna go home. I would not be surprised. When I told her about the time Shogun appeared before in a wheelchair, Rimi's lips pursed and then she began to ponder. I had always wanted to ask her about back then. Seemed like now was as good a time as any.
いたかな車椅子のおじいさんなんて。
Old man in a wheelchair. Taku's being kind of chuny again, Misumi-kun. He's kind of losing it. I'm gonna go home. She certainly didn't sound like she had seen him. Okay. Trying to remember. Come on. It's really important.
でも
Rimi frowned. Almost like she was hesitant to say what was on her mind.
そもそもあの時渋谷の駅前が無人だったなんてことなかったよ。
Well, I know that now.
いつもと同じだった。
Yeah, allegedly. So that was what Rimi had seen back then. I was hoping that she and I would agree on what we'd seen, but I guess not. Rimi, or me, which one of us had seen what the area was actually supposed to look like? Had I been wrong about what I'd seen after all? Had that empty Shibuya been nothing more than a delusion of mine? But if it was, then there was a small discrepancy. An old man had appeared in the empty Shibuya, Shogun. What was the explanation for that? If the Shibuya being empty part was a delusion, then Shogun could be a delusion as well.
駅前って人が多いでしょ。だから車椅子の人がいてもなかなか気がつかないだろうし。
I mean, that's true, Rimi. That's very true.
要するに見てないってこと。ごめんね。役に立てなくて。
It's okay. You've been helping enough already by listening to me, alright? At the very least, I knew Shogun himself wasn't a delusion. At first, I thought he was just a delusion, but ever since the group dive video had come out, my perception of him had swapped to the exact opposite. Shogun was real. He existed in reality. But that empty Shibuya, meanwhile, it could have just been a delusion. And in reality, the front of the station had been overflowing with people, just like it always was. I was the only one who had observed something different, a different set of scenery than everyone else. But how could that be possible?
ねえ、それよりお願いがあるんだけど、いい？
I do mind. I mind. Rimi joined her hands together in a prayer-like gesture.
CD を買いに行きたいんだ。せっかくここまで来てからちょっと寄っていきたいんだけど。
Oh, alright.
いいかな？
Sure, why not? I really wanted to get back to my base as soon as possible. The reason I'd taken such a long detour was because I was afraid of the possibility that Yua or Shogun might have been ready to ambush me. It wasn't so I could go on some shopping spree. But if I were to refuse after all that, she might end up going back on her promise to stay by my side. If I were to fuck up badly enough, she could get angry and leave by herself. What the hell should I do? This sucked. I needed Rimi to stay with me. I wasn't sure I could make it to my base alone. In the end, I wasn't able to refuse. So I did what I had to in order to survive and stuck as close as possible to her. I guess it was reasonable to think that Yua wouldn't attack me in a public place like this. But I was more afraid that they might have been hiding among the crowd. Every time I would almost bump into someone, I would scream inside my head.
パトカーだ。
Rimi's words frightened me. I quickly retreated behind her. Rimi was right. There were 2 police cars parked on the road, and right next to them were 3 police officers in uniform. Jesus Christ. Oust the criminals. Protect Shibuya from terrorists. The The police had also been pursuing me. Obviously, the basis behind it was completely false accusation, but the incompetent police didn't know that. Those cops might have been searching for me too. Or so I thought, but that apparently wasn't the case. The cops' gazes were fixated on the crowd of people marching down the street like they owned it. Were they protesters or something? They were carrying these giant signs of flags, and they were wearing the typical sashes and headbands you'd see among those kinds of people. There was a child marching along with his parents, holding hands with both of them. He looked like he had no idea where he was, and he was wearing a t-shirt with the words "Whose eyes are those eyes" written on it in permanent marker. I bit my lip.
何のデモだろうね。
The people marching were of all ages and genders. Their march was mostly silent and solemn, but at times they all echoed their chants. Drive the devil out of Shibuya! Expel his demons from this place!
悪魔
On the signs were a number of different things, such as drive the devil out of town or protect Shibuya from terrorists. It must have been some kind of protest against the new gen incidents. There was no point in protesting against that. If they had the time to do that, then could they please just hunt down Shogun and kill him? And then I wouldn't need to worry about him anymore.
タク、行こう。
Clearly uninterested, Remy turned her gaze away from the protesters and quickly started walking towards the entrance to the CD shop. Yeah, don't worry about that. We don't focus on politics here. Okay. As soon as we entered the shop, Remy headed straight towards the indie section. Unlike the J-pop section, there weren't many customers there. Remy stopped in front of shelf P, then started looking for the CD she wanted. But after a minute of browsing, her shoulders slumped.
やっぱりないな。
An indie group whose name started with P. Could that be the what's her name's Fess? What is their band name? It's not just Fess, right? It's Fess is her name, but the band name was something else, right?
タクはファンタズムってバンドを知ってる？
That's what
今話題にな
Phantasm.
ってるけど。
They're all the rage right now. So it was them. How could I not know them? I had even gone to their concert and I owned a CD. I even had a delusion where we had a fucking orgy. It was a whole thing. It was the whole thing right at the concert. I nodded and Remy smiled.
私、そういう情報は結構疎くて、最近になって知ったんだ。それで、友達に借りようかと思ったんだけど、なかなか手に入らないらしくて、誰も。だから、CD 買うしかないかなって思って、ここ1週間ぐらいあちこち探してみたんだけど、どこも売り切れ中。次はいつ入るんだろう。
僕持ってる。
Yeah, I got it. Come to my place. I got it. We can listen to it. Remy's eyes went wide.
持ってるって。
You mean the CD?
CD?
Yeah, you just go to the concert. It's not hard. I showed her a nod. And when I did that, Remy... Uh-oh. Oh. Put her hands on my shoulders. And now we go to the negative delusion and see her fucking kill me for the CD. She suddenly brought her face in close to mine, which immediately made me flustered. The sweet smell of shampoo wafting from Remy's hair tickled my nose, and I felt my face turning red.
ねえ、タク、取引しよう。
Oh? Oh? A deal?
その CD 貸してくれたら、見返りに私。
She looked at me, her expression dead serious. I gulped. She'll what? What's she going to do? Uh-oh.
叩き割ってあげる。
What?
はい。
Destroy it? Destroy what? That came out of nowhere. I never would have thought Remy was the type to act like such a DQN. Despite my confusion, Remy continued to talk very seriously.
その CD を持ってる人は呪われちゃうの。
Oh, that explains everything. Oh, that... Duh. Okay, alright, that explains so much. That explains so much.
タク、知らなかったでしょ。
Yeah, well, I know now.
私の調べた情報によるとね、ニュージェネの被害者はみんなその CD を買った人なの。
Oh my
フェスの
god.
予言は CD を買った人にだけ当てはまる
Oh my god.
フェスの呪いなの。
Oh my god. That couldn't
ニュ
be.
ージェネ事件は全部フェスの仕業。
It was all because of
急
fists.
がないと次に死ぬのはタクだよ。
Thought I heard something. If we don't hurry, the next one to die will be you. Will you? That didn't happen though.
おーい
Hey. Suddenly I came back to myself. Miriam was waving her hand in front of my face, her eyebrows furrowed in confusion.
どうしたの？急に意識がどこかに飛んじゃってたみたいだけど。
Well, thank God our friend knows about this so we can remove the curse. I know, right? Ah, Remy is such a savior for us. We just didn't realize how much of a savior she was for us. Oh my god.
あ、いや、
No, it's nothing. It's nothing. What was up with that delusion? It felt like I was gonna piss myself.
その調子だと話聞いてなかったでしょ。
Well...
じゃあもう一回言うけど、
Okay.
私のお気に入り CD を貸すっていうので手を打ってくれないかな。
は、
ねえねえ、いいでしょ？お願いします、この通り。
あ、
Life was a cruel mistress, though I suppose it was my fault for expecting anything. When I agreed to Remy's proposal, she delightedly struck a victory pose. That sight was so amusing to me that despite the critical situation I was in, I couldn't help but laugh. I managed to make it back to base safely. Thanks to Remy, of course. One thing ended up catching me off guard, though. When we arrived, I'd asked her to wait outside while I cleaned my room, but she flat out refused.
だって前に来た時に汚いっていうのはよーくわかったし、かっこつけなくてもいいって私とタクの中でしょ。
Are you sure? I've got like piles of Arrowgay lying around. Are you okay with that? I'm pretty sure that like bento on the table on my desk, I haven't touched that shit in like months, but that's still there. So are you sure about this? There might be some mold in that corner. I wouldn't trust it. Yeah, but I wish I knew what exactly that meant. Remy was completely absent from my memory, meaning I didn't really know her. Every once in a while, I'd find myself taken aback at how ridiculously friendly Remy was whenever she talked to me. It wasn't unpleasant or anything, but it made it all the more clear how different we felt about each other. On that particular note, was Remy serious about there being no point in me cleaning my room? The floor was littered with empty box lunches, and the bed was piled high with Arrowgay cases. Arrowgay cases with not exactly the most safe for work cover art. Either Remy had nerves of steel, or she had no real reason to feel on edge around me, but trying to figure out which it was only made me feel even more confused. Remy, unaware of how distressed I was, went to sit on the sofa, looking earnestly over the lyric booklet included in the Phantasm CD. I plopped down in my chair, and the tension flooding my body left soon after. My mind was completely maxed after spending most of the day terrified, yet I wasn't feeling that exhausted. Maybe that was thanks to Remy being there.
さて、どうしよっか。
What do you want to do? Closing the lyric booklet, Remy stretched her arms out high and sent a smile my way. What should we do? What were we supposed to do? She hadn't come here to hang out or anything. She just wanted me to lend her a CD. She was doing me a favor by staying with me, but what the hell were we supposed to do? What did we have? Did we have to do anything? If we were in an Arrowgay, we'd probably jump straight to the H scene. But, wait, stop. I really shouldn't be thinking about that right now. Even under the best circumstances, it was still a really intense situation. Being alone in my room with a 3D girl and all. If I were to have some unwelcome delusions, I might suddenly shoot back to reality and end up saying something weird. Silence. Remy was staring vacantly at the various manga scattered on the floor, and the Arrowgay piled up on the bed. Awkward. I knew that most of the awkwardness would dissipate if I just said something, but the only subjects I could think of were video games and anime, and I doubted that Remy knew anything about either. Wouldn't it be more logical for Remy to say something? She was the one who'd said she'd stay with me and all. This is going to be a bad time if she actually expected me to lead the conversation. All right, well, this is... All right, this is awkward. Yeah? Jesus Christ, I really did suck with 3D girls. I was grateful to her for staying with me, but I couldn't handle the sheer unrelenting silence. The fact that the room barely had any light was also an issue. It gave off the illusion that the room was dark for some lewd reason. Unable to take it anymore, I turned to face my PC. I needed to look something up. I've been thinking about it at school, and it ended up giving me a hint as to how to get my hands on a D-sword. Is it possible to translate images pictured in the mind to actual images? Using what Senna had told me about VR technology and people being electronic devices as a base, I began researching the subject.
何してるの?
Remy stood up and approached my desk. Should I explain? But how to go about it? It'd take forever if I told her everything.
ねえねえ、何してるか教えてよ。
Seeing no reaction from me, Remy poked me in the back with her finger. I couldn't just ignore her, right? Yeah, it'd never be that easy.
君はその妄想が現実になるって信じられる?
Do you believe? As I entered a few keywords into the search bar, I spoke without looking at Remy instead. I pretended I was talking to Saratown.
妄想が現実に? 無理でしょう。もしそれができたら、人はとっくに万能になってるよ。
Perhaps. That's a good point, actually. Illusions created a world in which any actions, no matter how unrealistic, were possible. If they were to become reality, the unreal world would become real. Unreality would become reality.
それがどうしたの?
それに近いシステムがアメリカで特許あるんだ。
There's a patent. It exists. It's America.
へえ、冗談でしょ。
I can feel Remy's doubtful scoff on my back. So in response, I showed her the image of the patent that Shiho had found for me.
これは?
特許の証拠写真。
I got the receipts.
本当に?
Yeah, no kidding. Right there. Remy leaned forward and brought her face close to the monitor. She was right up next to my face, peering intently at the screen.
私英語って苦手。すごいね、タク。英語読めるなんて。
What can I say? You know, what can I say? She was way too close. She was so close I could see the glittering of her eyes as they reflected the light of the monitor. I got flustered all over
ねえ
again.
ねえ、どういうことか教えてよ。
You know, stuff. It's just stuff. Seemed to have piqued her interest. I tried to avoid thinking about how close she was to me and attempted to focus on Saratown on the monitor instead.
生まれながらに盲目の人でもビデオカメラみたいな映像機器を通すことでそこに映る景色が見えるようになるんだ。
Yeah, he made
豆
it.
知識な。
He made it. He made it, boys. He made it to the end of the sentence. I always knew he could do it.
ビデオカメラが目の代わりっていうこと?
Essentially.
そう。VR 技術って言うんだよ。
へえ。もし本当だったらすごいな。
Well, they have a patent for it, so... But it is. That's what I'm trying to tell you, woman. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's here. It's literally here. I have the receipts. Santa told me there's already been successful tests.
でも、機械を使って目が見えるようになるのと、妄想が現実になるってどうつながるの?
Well, I'm getting to it, Remy, because in theory, if you could use a camera, if you could send video to somebody's brain, you could send false video to somebody's brain too. You can send fake shit. You could send fake news. You could do that to them.
私、頭悪いからよくわかんないや。
She's playing dumb. She's playing dumb. She's the mastermind. She's a lizard person with lizard people's skin underneath the anime girl facade. We know it. We understand it, okay? We're not falling for this shit. It's okay. Quick Google search to destroy her in this debate. As I explained it to Remy, I tried searching for a number of keywords that might have been related, but I couldn't find anything. Even so, I kept on trying and typed more and more keywords.
映像機器に映る景色も脳内で思い浮かべた妄想も電気信号だから。逆に考えるんだ。
Now she's actually a 2D girl under the 3D skin. Oh, based. Fucked up in evil delusions. Let's go. Hold on one second. Why are people adding me? Oh, I see. I see. Okay, we continue. Wait, hold on. Alright, we continue. We move. Think about it the other way around. We have to flip over the chessboard real quick. Okay, so instead of electrical signals, sending them out of the brain. So instead of sending the signals in the brain, send them out with our mind. Be like, what if this happened? All I got were filler responses. Probably didn't understand a thing I was saying. Probably. I couldn't be bothered trying to explain everything in detail, so I just stopped trying. I had to concentrate on my research. It didn't really matter if she understood it or not. After all, it was nothing more than a hypothesis I'd come up with. Rumi was still making noises and nodding to herself. Time to ignore her. I've been doing a whole lot of searching, but I was still unable to find any data to confirm my hypothesis. I tried taking a different approach, this time focusing my research on the patent itself. I went and checked a foreign website that Shiho had told me about, one that listed American patents. Once I was there, I began to look for patents that would fit what I had in mind. We got something. Satellite, person, electric wave tower, data processing station, receiver. After following a few links, I finally found an image with a similar vibe to the one Shiho had sent me. At a glance, though, the patent was clearly different from a VR apparatus one. I should read it right away.
神経信号パルスを遠隔地からモニターし、それを映像および音声として再現する装置と方法。
Okay. That was exactly what I had in mind. I voluntarily leapt out of my chair.
これすごいぞ。
Whoa, this is epic.
すごいの？何が何が？
Huge.
簡単に言うと、これ
This is
他人の思考を盗撮する技術だ。
read minds with this. It's all fucked, Remy. It's all fucked now.
思考
Yeah.
盗撮
Yeah. To sum it up, the audio and video people were imagining in their heads could be stolen by using a certain apparatus. Moreover, it even said that the nerve impulses could be monitored from satellites. That meant it was possible to spy on a subject's thoughts, no matter where they were on the planet.
本当にそんなことできるの？ SF 小説とかそういう類のもの
We're
なんじゃ
living in a sci-fi book, okay, Remy? We're living in it right now.
特許ってそのシステム自体が完全に仕上がってないと。
Is that true? I don't actually know if that's true. I don't actually know if that's true.
絶対に取得できないんだって。
I don't know if that's true either. I don't know if that's true. That had been made clear to me when I've been looking at stuff about patents.
だからこれもちゃんとシステムが確立されてるってことだよ。
This wasn't mere fiction. As long as you had the technological capabilities and the funds to build it, you could implement it at any time. Before, someone had told me that.
ある意図的な情報を神経パルスへコンバートすることが可能なら、人の五感すべて、さらには人の意志そのものもコントロールできるんじゃないか。
Couldn't find a source for that, so it remained as mere conjecture from her. However, for my own theory, there were sources. Why would something so insane not have spread all throughout Japan? This clearly deserved a Nobel Prize, if not something even bigger. I continued my research, this time looking up the mind-reading keyword. Of course. Then, I found a record of a particular lawsuit from America.
また英文だ。
英語上手。
頭痛くなってきそうだよ。
Just learn English, not hard. It was a really long document, so even I had a hard time reading it. It probably would read poorly. It probably would read poorly, but I decided to use a piece of English to Japanese translation software. Oh no, we're machine translating. The contents of what was written there could be summarized like this. Legal record, plaintiff, N.K. Robin. Defendant, United States Department of Defense, CIA. Plaintiff's allegations. I have become aware that my mind has been read via the use of a peculiar device. My monitored thoughts are then recorded and subsequently transferred to an unknown location using satellites. The aforementioned satellites have taken me hostage. I have been the victim of constant unending attacks regardless of the time of day, all of which were carried out by those very satellites. 1. Tracking. 2. Mind-reading telepathic surveillance. 3. Monitoring of all bodily signals. 4. Biorhythmical attacks. 5. Oral attacks. 6. Physical debilitation. Since the latter third of December 1990, I have been forcibly shown artificially created dreams during my sleep, some of which include video, audio, and even voices. From February to May 1992, I had fallen victim to several biorhythmical attacks, all of which were severe to torture me via the induction of pain and or psychological harassment. Recognizing that these attacks are aimed specifically towards myself, of course, beginning February of 1992, I began to record the following information in a journal: the date, time, and contents of any particularly agonizing psychological attack I could remember. The biorhythmical attacks were aimed at every single region of my body. The pain, torture, and psychological harassments were coordinated in order to cause discomfort, fatigue, and agony to specific regions of my body, or in some cases, my entire body. I wonder, because I know the writer, Chiyomaru, likes to look into a whole bunch of things to reference with his stories in terms of the sci-fi stuff. I wonder if this was an actual case that somebody tried to bring forward. And of course, it was probably dismissed because of course the CIA is not having the satellites target you specifically. You know, don't worry about it. I mean, this is already a batshit case to read about because it's like, how do you come to the conclusion that the CIA is sending pain signals to you? And how do you get away with starting a court case against the CIA for this? I mean, if they're sending these signals and monitoring you, why wouldn't they just stop you? You know, like, why would they have you tell people and shit like that? This is what makes me think that this is probably like a reference to a real life case that some crazy person tried to bring up. The main regions affected are as follows: chest, visual system, abdomen, brain to induce sleeping disorders, brain to show me artificially created dreams.
思考監視、思考盗撮、しかも国家ぐるみ。マジ？
私これ知ってる。何年か前に映画で見た。
Saw it in a movie? That was fiction, though. But what was written on these records very much wasn't. There were two possibilities. Either the plaintiff was a total mental case, or the entire thing was factual. It was difficult to figure out where exactly the boundary between the two was. Taking into account the patent from earlier could very well be truthful. So Sana and Ayase weren't total mental cases, particularly Ayase. Well, but back then, we had to go to this scene, of course. Ayase had cloned herself right before my very eyes. I hadn't witnessed the exact moment when it happened. All I knew was that when I turned around, another Ayase was there, and she'd been wearing lingerie for some reason. She had also shown me how she pulled her D-sword out of thin air. It had been neither a hallucination nor a delusion. After showing me something like that, there was no way I could still label her as a mental case. However, Ayase had also said this. That strange premonition. Had it been my delusion coming to fruition? Admittedly, right before it happened, I had been pondering about the color of Ayase's underwear.
力を持つ人の目にしか映らない。君には私の剣が見えているでしょう。
Is that what the kids are calling it these days? Your sword? Is that what they're calling it?
それが意味するのは
Maybe that was what ISA had been talking about when she'd mentioned the power. A power that projected delusions into reality. Maybe I had that power. Oh. No, I was probably just jumping to conclusions. Alright, positive? We already did negative last time, so we gotta do positive now. Right? Wait, yeah, we did... Yeah, we did negative last time. It was for the CD thing. So yeah, so we do positive now. It was a total stretch to think that a psychic ability existed just because something, a system using scientific means, was able to reproduce delusions as images.
見つけなくちゃいけない。自分自身で。方法なんて私にもわからないの。
But what if the method to obtain a D sword was by using such a psychic ability? So, let's suppose I had that ability within me. It might have been worth a try. Alright. Leaving Remy to stare at the PC screen with her eyebrows furrowed, I picked up the toy D-sword sitting in the corner of my room. I went to stand in the corner of my room and brought my sword to eye level like an ESO character. Closed my eyes. Tried to conjure the image of a sword in my mind. I naturally imagined it to be something similar to the beautiful sinister swords that Senna and Ayase had, each complete with sharpness that could sever anything it touched. Having delusions was my specialty. After all, I had all sorts of delusions on a daily basis. If I wanted to, I could recreate every single detail both vividly and clearly in my head. Once the image was as precise as it was going to get, I planted my feet, gritted my teeth, and tried grasping the sword with the power and now held in my hands. Become real! Become real! Become real! Become real! Become real! Become real! I prayed inside my head, devoting all my thoughts towards that one single wish. What I'm holding is a real D-sword. It is not fake, it's real! I infused the strength of my entire being into that blade. Come reveal yourself to me. We just have to gaslight ourselves, boys. Just gaslight ourselves so hard, it just becomes reality. Grant me salvation. Protect me. I slowly opened my eyes. The sword I was holding hadn't changed whatsoever. It was still the same cheap-ass toy.
そりゃそうだよな。
I didn't expect anything. There's no such thing as an evil eye-esque psychic power that turned illusions into reality. It was way too chuny. What was I, like 5? I felt ashamed to have ever thought I held such a power. Heaving a long sigh, I lowered the sword. But right as I did, I sensed a gaze behind me. I could feel chills on the back of my neck. Goosebumps rose across the entirety of my body. The gaze again? There was a clear sign. A sign that, right at that moment, someone was watching me. Don't look at me. I was gonna turn around. I wasn't gonna turn around like I'd ever turn around. Not only had I sensed a person, but I heard a voice as well. Did we forget Remy again? Though to be precise, it hadn't exactly been a voice. It'd been closer to a sigh. Don't tell me. I might have made a terrible mistake. I slowly, ever so slowly, turned around. And there was Remy staring right at me. So, that was it. No wonder that sense of presence had been more intense than usual. Granted, that only made sense considering I wasn't just feeling like I was being watched, I was being watched. This was definitely going to get confusing. Oh god, had Remy seen me go full Chinibyo? Brandishing a sword and all that from the start to finish? I was going to die from embarrassment. This is the positive delusion, right? Except something was off about her. Remy's brow burrowed, and she stared at me without blinking even once. However, it wasn't me she was looking at, but the object I held, the toy D-sword. Why did she look so serious? Felt like she had an entirely different personality from the one that'd been getting all confused about patents earlier. An unpleasant memory flashed through my mind. Rumi was on my side. She was supposed to be. However, I still hadn't solved the mystery surrounding her. Did Rumi know something about D-swords? As I go up, I nervously called out to her.
タク
Yeah? Her gaze still fixated on me. Rumi opened her mouth. Her voice was stifled, devoid of any and all emotion.
その件だけど
Yeah? Rumi was my ally, wasn't she? She wouldn't betray me like Yua did, would she? If even Rumi betrayed me,
捨
I'd...
てた方がいいと思う。
どうして
Why? My voice nearly cracked. Did Rumi know something after all?
だって
Rumi's gaze finally moved, but this time landed squarely on my eyes. I hardly averted my own. What was she going to say?
もう高校生だし
You're a high schooler. Come on, don't be a little 5-year-old. What is this? Rumi broke into a grin. A very mischievous grin. The abrupt change in demeanor left me speechless.
そりゃ男の子っていくつになってもそういうおもちゃが大好きなんだなってのはなんとなくわかるけど、さすがにそんな大きなおもちゃ一人で部屋で振り回してるのはどうかと思うよ。
Bro, have you looked around my room and seen all my fucking figures?
それが許されるのは小学生までじゃない？まあ、
Listen.
でもタクの個人的な趣味を私の前で披露してくれたってのは
Okay,
ちょ
alright,
っと
well,
嬉
this is
しいかも。
embarrassing. This is
私
embarrassing
に
now.
だけ秘密を教えてくれたみた
Okay,
いで。
alright, okay. What the hell, man? I'd gotten all scared for no reason.
そもそもそれどこで買ってきたの？高かったんじゃない？
I was scammed, don't worry about that part.
1万円渋谷の雑貨屋で
へえ、1万円か。安いのか高いのかわからないけど。
It's kind of expensive considering it's not what I wanted.
でもそんな大きなおもちゃが普通に売ってるんだね。私そんな大きなのを直接見たのって初めて。
Why would you say it like that, Remy?
その雑貨屋さんに売ってるっていうのは誰かに教えてもらったの？
A random blog I found said it. She really wasn't gonna let it go. Was she interested in these kind of swords or something? Maybe Remy was actually a total chinibyo in disguise. So the one who'd been making fun of me for having a sword actually wanted one herself? Tsundere much? Fuhihihi, LMAO?
自分で調べた
I'll have you
ネ
know,
ットで
I did my own research on
ネ
the
ット
internet.
か。
Yes. Yeah, I found a blog.
すごいな。何でも情報が手に入るんだね。
So true.
私は全然ダメ。パソコンなんてろくに使え
What?
ないよ。
Can't even use a computer. What is this like? We're in like what? 2006? When did this story take place? Okay, can't use a computer. What are you talking about?
その件って流行ってるの？
なんで
タクはどうしてそれを買おうと思ったのかなって。
Maybe I should just tell her the truth. If she was going to stay by my side moving forward, maybe she'd end up helping me search for a real D-sword in the future. If that was the case, it might be better to just tell her everything now and get it out of the way.
これは偽物だけど本物があるんだ
本物？
Yeah. Remy tilted her head, puzzled.
本物を持ってる人を僕知ってるんだ2人いる同じ学校の女
All the
子
women in our school who were trying to kill me. They all got it.
女子ね。女の子がこんなおもちゃを欲しがるかな。
It's a new trend, just like the Gero Gero Froggies, okay?
本当なんだ
It's true.
それにおもちゃじゃない
They're not toys, okay? They're D-swords.
あ、ごめん。
Yeah, no bullying.
本物は光るんだそれにすごい存在感で
Yeah.
僕それを探してる
Yeah, we need one with glowing effects.
それさえ手に入れれば僕は救われるんだ
That would fix me.
救われるって。
Everyone's chuny, huh? Every single person. Remy looked quite puzzled, but I was dead serious. Not to mention, a D-sword would be a powerful tool to confront Shogun.
それで
I wanted to say that I needed her help to find it. However, when I thought about what I could even do if she said no, I grew too scared and anxious to say anything. I dropped the fake sword on the spot and sat down on the sofa. With a sigh, I closed my eyes. Would Remy offer me her help in order to find it? If she did, everything would turn out okay. But I knew how unrealistic it was to expect her to go that far. Up until now, Remy had always come dashing to my rescue whenever I was in a tough spot. Almost like she could read my mind. In that case, maybe
とにかくもし本物があったとしてもそれこそ買ったりしちゃダメだよ。今タクが持ってるのはおもちゃだからいいけど本物ってことは銃刀法違反になっちゃうんだから。
Think of the law, Takumi. Think of the law. You can't have swords and firearms. My hopes were crushed instantly. Oh, what an insane disappointment. Then again, Remy's reaction made sense from the POV of an average person. These past few weeks, I'd encountered so many inexplicable things. I was nearly at the point where I was ready to believe everything that Senna and Ayase had said. Maybe Ayase was right. I had to find a D-sword entirely on my own.
それでタク
Yeah, that's me, I'm Taku. I felt Remy sit down next to me.
その本物の剣を持ってる女子って誰？
Her voice came very close by. She was right next to me. It was just the two of us in a closed space, dimly lit room, and we were sitting right next to each other. Emergency. Everybody, battle stations, emergency.
タクに女子の知り合いが私以外にいたなんてちょっとびっくり。
That's not true.
もしかして
I know plenty.
彼女？
Well, what can I say? I mean, my popular times, you know. So that was where she was going with this. Could it be Remy was trying to seduce me? The only possible conversation that could result from this topic was one centered on romance. After I told her the truth, she'd give me her confession, and then the mood would be my God. After I told her the truth, she'd give me her confession, and then the mood would start getting really hot and heavy. And then, oh God, I couldn't do this. I wasn't even remotely prepared for this. Riz master, you know, Takumi. He's got the Riz. He's got the otaku schizo freak drip. He's got the eroge obsessed MMO playing Riz. We got the D sword swinging around in our shipping container home. We got piles of trash everywhere. What's not to like? What's not to like? I opened my eyes and frantically shook my head. Both Ayase and Senna were mysterious creatures. That's how we'll describe them. Not to mention absolute mental cases. Schizo didn't even begin to describe them. I'd have moe'd over them if they were 2D characters, but I'd never moe over 3D shit. Why is this a line? Why is this a line? Why did we unironically say this line, Takumi? Takumi, you're posting cringe. Takumi. Especially with Senna, talking to her just scared me. It wouldn't surprise me if violence was just part of her MO. I wanted to stay as far away from her as possible.
そっか。ちょっと安心したかな。
What does that mean? Huh? What? Okay. What did we do last time? We did positive, so now we have to do negative, right? Uh-oh, flag tripped. Well, unfortunately, we already did the positive last time, so now we gotta do negative. Right? We've tripped a flag now. Now it's gonna turn out to be that we shouldn't have told her about the D swords, because now she's gonna fucking kill us. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, my whole body froze in place. She clearly said that on purpose, right? Was she subtly hitting on me right now? Hold on. It was puts me at ease for what was it specifically? Oh, one of them being your girlfriend. That's what this was about. I see. Judging from the flow of this conversation, there's a good chance Remy had me right where she wanted me. Is she gonna go yandere on us? How should I answer? Should I just come out and say exactly what you wanted to hear? Yeah, surely nothing bad could come from that. But I wasn't sure I had the confidence to go out with a real girl. I was at a loss about what to do, so I opted to subtly examine Remy's expression. What? Oh, whoa. Hello, this is the negative delusion, right? Oh. What? Remy had changed clothes in the blink of an eye. How did that happen? It looks nice. I like it. She would... Hold on. Take a screen cap while it's still there. That's nice. She should have been wearing her uniform, but there was no way she could have sneakily changed clothes in the short time I'd had my eyes closed for, right? I couldn't keep up with such a sudden change.
どうかした？
Remy tilted her head. She didn't say a word about her sudden change of clothes. What was going on? Had Remy not noticed, or was she just playing dumb? Try not to ogle her, I looked over her new change of clothes. Was this her casual outfit? As I hadn't seen her in anything but her uniform before, it felt incredibly invigorating. She was wearing both a denim-esque jacket and a miniskirt. The over-the-knee socks she'd been wearing before were gone. Essentially, her bare legs were on display. Her thighs were smooth and voluptuous. And while she was clearly wearing a miniskirt, she was also hugging her knees as she sat. So, I could see her panties, Sakiata. I could see him. I could see your panties, Sakiata-san. I could see them. Actually, depending on the angle, it almost looked like she was completely commando. Against my better judgment, my eyes directed themselves towards the V-zone of her skirt. This is the negative delusion, right? I desperately called forth my rational side to suppress my lust. The way she was sitting, it reminded me of the cover of a classic Moe eroge. Oh no. Oh no. Titled Free Sister. In the limited edition of this anime adaptation, there was an illustration with the heroine sitting exactly as Remy was now, think one of those boxes labeled Free Kittens. But it says Free Sister instead. That illustration was irresistibly moe. I even had it on my PC wallpaper for a while. Was this a delusion? An illusion? Or was it legit? Oh God, I couldn't stop thinking about what was underneath Remy's skirt. And my Johnson was starting to make me feel very known. Her body had been giving off a nice scent for a while now, and how should I put it? The texture of her skin combined with her amazing figure, it all put 2D to shame. Was this true power of the third dimension? She seemed very capable of instantly obliterating the values I'd held dear until now, even though I'd never been into 3D, nor had I ever planned to change that, even though I'd only ever loved 2D characters. Right now, Remy held enough destructive power to fucking obliterate those lofty values with a single strike.
ねえ、タク。
Aye, Takuda. Surprising no one, Remy showed no sign of acknowledging her change in outfit, instead just giving me an instant smile.
私、喉乾いてきちゃった。
Oh, we got some cola?
何か飲み物ある？
Yeah, we got some cola. Some cola or some cola. My sense of reason on the verge of rupture, I took advantage of the opportunity to get up and headed towards the fridge. I peeked inside. I had some half-finished cola, but I drank directly from the bottle, so it probably wouldn't be the best idea to give it to Remy.
ないなら買ってこようかな。コンビニって深センの駅前にあったよね。
Yeah. Tell Remy stand up behind me.
ちょっと行ってくる。
I'll be right back. Look at that. Look at that stance. Very powerful. Ah, okay. She gave me a big smile, then left without waiting for my response. All right. Left alone with my thoughts, I began to think, what the hell kind of phenomenon was that? You really have been a delusion, huh? Remy wearing casual clothes, ISA splitting in two. What kind of mechanism was capable of reproducing those delusions accurately enough to feel real? Had it even been that, though? Did I have powers or not? And if I did, how could I actually use them? How could I obtain a D-sword? I'm still stuck deep in a maze of questions, unable to do anything but wander around aimlessly.
ただいま。
Where'd your clothes go? Then Remy, who had only just left, returned. And not only that, she was wearing her uniform. Now you mean to tell me that she'd quickly changed while she was outside? Why would she do that?
私、財布持ってくの忘れてた。
Oh, silly girl. Why would you do that? That's very silly. Okay, hold on. I had a message. Okay, we're all good. We're all good. Remy didn't seem to notice my bewilderment, and with a strained laugh, she took her wallet from her bag.
べし。それじゃあ、改めて買ってくるね。
All right, you'll be right back. And without mentioning her clothing even once, she left the container again. I pressed a finger against my temple and groaned. Someone please explain the bizarre phenomenon just now. While Remy went out shopping, I went back to researching the patent and mind reading. When I reached my computer, I noticed that Grimm had entered the chat room and was looking for me. I sighed and reluctantly entered the chat room. You there, Neidhart? Hello, Neidhart. Needing as usual, I see. Come on, kid, chat with me, please. Seriously, I got new info. Neidhart chat, dinner's ready. Oh, I've entered the room. Look, finally decided to show up. You're too slow, Neidhart. Thanks to that, I've entered Whose Eyes Are Those Eyes mode. Damn it, the fuck was Whose Eyes Are Those Eyes mode? Grimm obviously just wanted to use the phrase for the hell of it. Even though he knew I hated seeing that goddamn thing, it always freaked me out. What kind of new info? New gen, obviously. It happened, bro. The 5th case. What? Of course, I felt the usual depression I always felt whenever I heard about new gen. But on the other hand, I was also bewildered. I was sure that Shogun and Yua would target me this time. My fate had been delayed, it seemed, though I wasn't sure whether or not to be happy about that. Want to know the deets? It's on the Taboo homepage. A quick search should tell you everything. What time today did it happen? Not today. They found the body last night, but the victim died the day before. This time was seriously insane. The dead guy's brains were removed. Wait, what? Without warning, Grimm started telling me the details of the case, and I began to panic. I was beyond done with all this gory shit. I didn't want to hear about any of it. If I got word of it, I might imagine myself getting brutally murdered in some way. Even though I still hadn't found out how to get a D-sword. And yet Grimm continued mercilessly. Bro, Grimm, can you leave me alone? You know I'm fucking crazy. Let's calm down. Seriously freaky, dude. What do you think the cause of death was? Drumroll, please. Emaciation. Which means he was alive even after his brains were removed. What? The repulsiveness of it all sent chills down my spine. I wrapped my arms around my body. I don't want to hear anymore. Spare me, please. I'm begging you. My life already went to shit a long time ago, so please. Apparently, he was in a state kind of like brain death. He might have been like that for over a week, just sitting there brainless. He obviously couldn't eat or drink, so no wonder they died of emaciation. At Channel already named the case Numbskull LMFAO. What a name. What a name. The Numbskull case. Wow. Out here piling bitches while Grimm telling you about some murder shit. Listen, you know, I get the bitches, he gets the gory shit, and, you know, we balance it out like that. That's how it goes. Is Grimm a real person, or are they another personality of me? It's possible. It's possible that they're just also me. It's always possible. Netizens really are epic at times. Okay, so this part's hilarious. Get this. The victim was a psychiatrist. The psychiatrists had their brains removed. Actually, what the fuck are the Mayo levels of irony? Oh no. Oh, our psychiatrist was the one that we trusted from like childhood. Took a little week break, didn't he? He was like gone for like a week or so at some point. Yeah, that's not good. Psychiatrist. The moment I saw that word, my heart rate skyrocketed. Might have been overthinking it, but I had to check to make certain. But I also didn't want to. After hesitating on and off for a while, I eventually went to the home page of Taboo and opened the news article reporting on the numbskull incident. Yep, it's him. Male corpse found in Shibuya Ward. Possible 5th new-gen case? Early morning on the 23rd, the body of 41-year-old Takashina Fumio was discovered in the streets of Shibuya Ward, Tokyo. The victim, Dr. Takashina, was a psychiatrist at A.H. Tokyo General Hospital. Also found in Shibuya Ward. The TMPD have released the cause of death, stating that the man died via emaciation due to severe malnutrition. As well as this, Dr. Takashina's head was found to have received a clean cut along the top of the skull, and his brain was removed. The authorities claimed it is possible that he survived in a state akin to brain death long after the removal of his brain. The investigation revealed that Dr. Takashina had not shown up to work ever since the 10th of this month. Ever since last month, Shibuya Ward had received immense publicity regarding the string of grotesque murders known as the New Generation Madness. The Shibuya Police Department are investigating these murders under the possibility that they have all been committed by the same culprit.
なんてことだ。なんて。
The victim's name. It was my doctor. Was with Takashina Fumio. Dr. Takashina. Dr. Takashina had been killed. He was provoking me. Shogun was blatantly provoking me. To do that, he killed the only doctor I could rely on just to set an example.
そんな。
Jesus. Quick, just look at the Sarah poster. This is what happens, Remy, when you leave the shipping container for like 3 seconds, okay? We have a mental breakdown again. We learn about some fucked up shit from Grimm, and it turns out our doctor's dead. You can't leave us alone, Remy. We will lose our shit. I let out a scream. My mind was in complete disarray. I felt like I was on the brink of snapping. That was a good scream. Holy shit. God, he's gone. I can't say he's losing it because he's already it's just gone. He's gone. Nope. Not here. Not here yet. She's at the store. Oh. You look back around. Is she here yet? She wasn't there. She wasn't there. She wasn't there. Why wasn't she here? Because she just went out shopping. I lay down on the ground, clutching my head.
僕を助けて、リミ。助けてよ。
Don't leave me.
どこにも行かないで。
Don't leave me. Oh, she's here? Someone responded to me. Shocked, I look up to find Remy standing right beside me, holding a convenience store bag.
リミ。
Hey, Remy. She'd come back, thank goodness. Relieved I held up my hand. Remy crouched down and embraced my hand with both of her own. Ooh. Her hands had been cool when she'd touched me before, but now they felt so unbelievably warm.
ここにいる。私はここにいるから。
I was waiting for her to say Taku. I didn't hear it. Because it says she says Taku. Using her finger, Remy wiped my tears away with a gentle smile. How pathetic could I be? I wasn't a man at all. Showing how terrified I was, crying and screaming, all in front of a girl. And yet, even while knowing how pathetic I was, she'd still said that she would stay by my side. Right now, this warmth I felt was the only thing keeping my mind from shattering. Until I got a D-sword, I never wanted to let her go. Meanwhile, whenever night fell, Miyashita Park always found itself engulfed in a peculiar air. Whose eyes are those eyes? 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 In the center of the park stood a large group of people packed together. There must have been no less than 100 of them. Most of them seemed to be in their teens, and some wearing high school uniforms, and others, particularly girls, wearing fashionable casual clothes. Within the crowd was an otaku-esque young man with glasses, and a ganguro high school girl, the latter of which was a fairly rare sight in this day and age. Hold on, wait. I thought we had brain death. This is a whole thing that we had come up before that we didn't read through. What is ganguro? Is that related to gyaru? Oh, it is. Okay. Ganguro involves bleached hair, extreme tanning, extensive use of makeup. Okay. Brain death. A condition in which all cognitive functions have ceased, but heart function is still maintained via artificial respiration. I can say these words. There are two types of brain death. Total brain death, where the cerebrum, cerebellum, and brainstem all cease to function, and brainstem death, where only the brainstem ceases to function. A vegetative state is often misunderstood as a form of unconsciousness in which there is a loss of smell or all cerebral functions, but in actuality, the brainstem and the cerebellum are still functional, and spontaneous breathing is possible as well. Even so, there is an extremely rare chance of recovery from a vegetative state. In Japan, there are laws and regulations in place to determine whether or not a person can be determined legally brain dead. The following 5 items are those regulations, each of which are checked twice with sufficient time between each check. 1. The patient is in a deep coma. 2. The pupils are dilated and fixed. 3. There are no reflexes from the brainstem. 4. The patient's brainwaves are flat. 5. Spontaneous breathing has ceased. Within the crowd was an otaku-esque young man with glasses and a ganguro high school girl, the latter of which was a fairly rare sight in this day and age. From an outsider's perspective, one would think that they were attending some kind of event, but upon closer inspection, it became clear that their behavior was anything but normal. They were all looking at the ground, their eyes unfocused and empty. Even though quite a number of people were gathered here, none of them conversed with each other. They simply stood there, frozen in place. Every last one of them wore some faint smile, the same faint smile, all while murmuring something under their breaths. A phrase that their whole bodies and minds were dedicated to saying. Whose eyes are those eyes? That phrase seeped from the mouths of the hundreds of people there. Despite their smiles, the chant rose as nothing more than a flat, emotionless murmur, echoing throughout the park like a Buddhist sutra. Naturally, due to the bizarre state that people there were under, no one else was roaming Miyashita Park. A female officer worker on her way home from work and a middle-aged woman walking her dog attempted to pass through, only to find themselves terrified by the strange sight and turning back the way they came. There was only a single man who was paying close attention to that peculiar group. At first glance, it appeared that he too was part of the group, but in actuality, he was standing alone a few meters away from it. Considering his choice in clothing, the man would have blended in quite well in Akihabara. He wore a plaid shirt, deeply worn sneakers, mittens, a red bandana, and a large green rucksack. He was fairly corpulent, which made the buttons on his shirt appear as though they were about to come off. It was late into October, so while the air should have been quite cool, the man's forehead was covered in sweat. In constant war against this, the man attempted to wipe it away with a towel, but to no avail. He looked around restlessly, seemingly unable to calm down, and yet, from the way his shoulders moved, he almost appeared as if he was laughing. Ever since they had begun, accompanying the sutra-like chants was a distinct, mechanical sound, the origin of which was the man's rucksack. Another high schooler, this one wearing a blazer, entered the park. Instead of flinching at the sight of the peculiar group, she kept her eyes locked onto them as she steadily approached. The way she walked, her long, black hair, that's purple, but we'll call it black hair, fluttering in the wind, gave off an aura of pure confidence and gallantry. In somewhat of a contrast to this, the girl carried a half-eaten popsicle in her hand. The group paid her no mind. They were completely absorbed in their own world, continuing to repeat the same phrase over and over again. Being ignored did not faze her either. She did not even raise an eyebrow. Then, as she was drawing closer to the group, she suddenly stopped. She nibbled at the popsicle while remaining thoroughly composed. As she chewed, the distinct sound of crunching escaped her mouth. Once she finished eating, the girl looked at the stick left behind by the tree, clicked her tongue, and tossed it away at her feet. She lost it again. She didn't win. Her eyes were sharp as ever. Her gaze slowly moved over the faces of each individual in the group. The man with the rucksack shouted at her, the girl now clearly beyond the limit of what he could ignore. Naturally, the girl, Aoi Senna, was well aware that the man had been watching her since she had arrived. With a mocking snort, she abruptly crossed her hands over each other, then straightened her arms out in front of her. D-sword time, I'm assuming. Then, the area between her hands warped faintly, and the vague shape of a metal rod appeared. It looked similar to a hoe or a shovel, but the shape matched neither of those descriptions. It was a razor-sharp sword with a bifurcated blade. After a moment, it took on a definite shape, and Senna grasped it with both hands. However, it did not end there. Immediately after, a blue light illuminated both sides of the sword Senna was holding, as well as the air directly to the right of her where it was pointed. Kill him with the energy sword. Just as before, metal pieces appeared from that glowing blue space. As they took shape, they noisily fused with the long blade that had appeared before them. At last, a ring formed, one from which another long trail of light streaked far to the right. The bifurcated blade traced the trail's trajectory as it came into being. Though one might have originally thought that it was thought it to be a hoe or shovel, it was now clear that it had transformed into a gigantic sword. Sharp yet elegant. Translucent. Sharp yet elegant. Translucent yet destructive. Sinister yet beautiful. With an overwhelming sense of presence, the sword settled in Senna's hands. The man with the rucksack showed no reaction. He simply stared at Senna with a malicious look on his face. Get out of here. What do you want, you fucking crazy girl with your fucking hoe or shovel, whatever it is? With a voice quite high-pitched for a man, he ordered Senna to leave, accompanying it with a violent gesture. His tone was thoroughly domineering, though he kept his distance from her. Senna, on the other hand, opened her mouth without showing any shift in emotion. Yes, he definitely is. It seemed to be more of a request for confirmation rather than an actual question. She rotated her gaze towards the man with the rucksack, locking him in place. In response, the man showed clear signs of fluster, providing a fierce contrast to what he had displayed before that. Hatano? The man, too paralyzed by fear, wasn't able to act, nor answer a question. The group of people muttering, whose eyes were those eyes, paid no attention to the exchange between the two. Rather, their eyes did not even register it. Senna's gaze met with the man's. The first to avert their eyes was him. I don't know who that is. I wouldn't tell you shit. Alright, chat, let's kill him. Remaining silent, Senna brandished the great sword she was holding in both hands in a Kasumi no Kamae stance. She then slowly lowered her hips, and then she cast her upper body forward. Kasumi no Kamae, translated as mist stance, is a type of stance utilized in sword fights. The sword is held horizontally with the hilt beside the face, and the tip of the blade pointed towards the opponent. It is a stance often employed by many ancient styles of swordsmanship. The sword was held at eye level for the purpose of severing the eyes of the opponent with a single horizontal strike. It is said that the name comes from the opponent's vision going blurry, hence the word Kasumi, mist. That's interesting. Kill him. Kill him, chat. Oh, we're turning like purple or pink now? Don't be mistaken. Nothing personnel, kid. The sword emanated light once more. And unlike before, what it released was not a blue light, but a light bending together. What? But a light blending together of fierce purple and red. We have magenta. god. Oh my god. Suddenly a high-pitched screech, resembling a woman's scream, resounded. The atmosphere between her and the man was warped with anger, but not in the metaphorical manner. It was entirely physical. The very air itself vibrated, converging towards the sword Senna was holding. The red glow of the sword became inconceivably intense to the point of dazzlement. Senna took a small breath and gritted her teeth. And then she fucking killed him. She fucking murdered him. A booming sound roared. I can read. Shower of sparks surged. A sonic wave erupted, one that sought to blow away the air itself. The vibration in the air then immediately subsided. Thank God. Thank God. Listen, this game's cool, but please, no more of these very loud sound effects that just loop like that. There was that one, and then when we were watching the video of the people on the rooftop where they're just crying. Okay, those are both very... I understand. They accomplished their point, okay? You gotta tone down the volume at some point, though. Please. The vibration in the air then immediately subsided. The sword, however, continued to flicker with a brilliant red glow, one reminiscent of pulsing blood. Senna slowly pointed the tip of her sword directly at the man. As one would expect, the previously indifferent group started showing signs of agitation. Bewildered, they all started running away as if they had returned to their senses. Senna paid them no mind. She simply kept her eyes locked on the single man with the rucksack. The man, who until now had shown no clear signs of fear, began to panic. He started taking a few steps back, his face turning pale. He shook his head in denial.
What?
I don't know shit. Alright, kill him, Senna. Kill him. Don't be mistaken. Senna did not even remotely entertain the man's supplications. Oh, okay. I only asked so I didn't have to say hello? Bro, why are these lines going so fucking hard? Why do these lines go so fucking hard? And now you fucking die. I wanted the image of her without the line, though, because I mean, I could get the image of the line later, but, like, I wanted her by herself because I might use this thumbnail for the VOD or something later. Regardless of what you said, I'd have destroyed it anyway. A fierce glitter dwelled within her eyes. The man shrieked pitifully, turned on his heel, and attempted to flee. However, the group, which had only just dispersed, was now running away in confusion. His escape route blocked. The man who had grown far too frantic, stopped dead in his tracks. And at that very moment, Senna kicked off the ground, closed the gap between her and the man's back. Oh my Jesus. It was a blow so swift. It's hard to conceptualize that it had come from Senna's slender arms. The blade swept horizontally, shredding the rucksack the man was carrying. The impact blew the man away. He collapsed to the ground and curled into a ball, covering his head with his hands. Having lost the will to flee, all the man could do was tremble. His groin was now sodden. The man having become incontinent out of fear. Incontinent. He pissed himself. We're trying to say he pissed himself. Senna walked over to the man and, without paying him any mind, gazed down at the contents of the destroyed rucksack. A collection of small sparks spurted out from within, emitting a crackling sound. There was a device inside. Its shape might have originally called to mind a device one size larger than a modem, but after getting demolished by Senna's D-sword, it was now in pieces. Could not be of any use anymore. The deafening mechanical sound that had been coming from within the rucksack could no longer be heard. Muttering to no one in particular, Senna's voice oozed with hatred. It was always the name of the group, right? Was that that's what that was? That was the name of like the group? That's like the research group studying us or whatever? Pretty sure it's what. As fall moved forward, it gradually been getting colder outside. The fact I'd been able to go out in a short-sleeved shirt only a few days ago felt unreal. The color of the sky was also somewhat dull. Its previously bright tint seemed to be fading. If you went to a park, you'd be able to see the vibrant autumn leaves sprouting from the trees. Maybe they were sucking the color from the sky. As I looked up towards that sky, I jammed my toothbrush into my mouth. The nice thing about my base was that I had no eyes on me. I could do anything I wanted on the roof without fear of other people's scrutiny. It was also fairly spacious, giving it a nice open feel. My sink was located outside of my container, which allowed me to brush my teeth outside when the weather was nice. It was pretty inconvenient when it rained, though. Wait, what is our bathroom? I'm just realizing, what is our bathroom? What is our bathroom on this roof? Do we just go into some place inside the building for our bathroom? What is our bathroom? Is it just a bucket somewhere in the... Do we have a shit bucket on the roof? What's going on? As I rubbed my sleepy eyes, I moved my toothbrush around my mouth, thought back to what happened a day prior. What is our shower, too? Wait. Even after everything, Rumi had stayed in my room until late at night. She'd even held my hand until I finally calmed down, which had taken at least an hour. Although I should clarify that nothing had actually happened between us before she'd gone home. Two people of the opposite sex and the same age, no less, had been left alone in a cramped room for hours on end, yet they never broached any particularly lewd topics. If I had the skills to carry out conversations like that, I would have gained normie status a long time ago. Jesus Christ, why was I like this? The part of me that wanted this bullshit sexual gratification made me want to puke. Remy was genuinely trying to help me, and it was a friend, and it was as a friend, nothing more. She had already done a lot for me just by saying, "I'll stay by your side." That alone made me feel leagues better. Having just that pillar of support made a tremendous difference. Despite the gut-wrenching murder of Dr. Takashina in the numbskull case, I'd found myself feeling pretty stable after the night had passed. Come to think of it, what was up with that phenomenon I experienced earlier? The one where Remy had changed clothes. It felt way too real to be called a hallucination. It's the satellites. The satellites are sending the signals. They're turning your friends into aerogay covers. They're doing this to you from the satellites. It's the FBI, the CIA, all the acronyms. They're sending the aerogay images to you. They're mollifying your friends. It seemed both realistic and unrealistic that Remy had changed clothes at such lightning speed, and there was zero reason for her to do such a thing. Therefore, it must have been a delusion of mine, just like I had split in two. Power to project delusions onto reality. Did such a thing really exist? Was I being targeted by Shogun because I had the power to do so? If I did have that power, a childhood memory resurfaced. It was the day I hadn't been able to go on the field trip. The day where I had been the only one not involved in a certain accident. The bus had crashed and several of my classmates were injured. And Mr. Saito, my teacher, died. I remembered images of those things appearing vividly in my mind back then. I'd seen them clear as day. Had it really just been foreknowledge? What if those images hadn't just been foreknowledge? What if they'd been a delusion of mine? What if I'd projected that delusion onto reality? My body threatened to start trembling, so I wrapped my arms around myself in an attempt to counter it.
だとしたら僕は
Yet you'd be a murderer. You killed your teacher, is what that would mean. A murderer. Oh, hiyo! Who's that? Who's there? Oh my god, it's Remy. Standing there. Bro, weren't you... Did you go home, or did you stay here? Remy was standing there. Despite how early in the morning it was, she was just as cheerful and energetic as ever. The moment I saw her smile, the trembling I had been unable to fight suddenly ceased. That was odd. I used to get extremely uncomfortable whenever 3D girls were around me, but for some reason, I felt at ease now that Remy was here.
迎えに来たよ。
Me? You're here to pick me up?
なんでポッカーンってしてるの？
Oh, I understood now. According to the minimum attendance chart, I had to go to school today. I probably told Remy that yesterday.
迎えに来てあげるって言ったよね。
Yeah, I forget a lot. Yeah, it had to be that. Because of Shogun, I've been too afraid to go out on my own. And that was when Remy told me, I'll stay by your side. She was keeping that promise.
まさか本当に来るとは思わなかったとか？
A little bit.
ビシッ。
Bishi?
残念でした。こう見えても私尽くすタイプなんだ。
God damn it, woman. Remy winked mischievously at me. Look at the wink. Look at the wink. It's very mischievous. Don't trust it. She's evil. She's a part of the CIA. The satellites. The delusions. What arrogate was this? I couldn't believe a girl from my class had come to pick me up. It was a scenario I would have never expected to ever happen in real life. If she wanted to make it genuinely top tier, she should have barged into my room and woken me up. That would have insta-killed me. Don't fall for her vixen tricks. It's so true. Don't trust it. Don't trust it. While I cooked up idiotic delusions like that, Remy looked up at the sky. The distant look of hers again.
冬の空が色あせたように見えるのは。
It's so lifeless here. Where's the soul? Where's the soul? 1 second. Am I getting the alerts? What's going on here? What's going on here? Why does everybody want to talk to me? Hold on. Hold on. Okay, let's see here. All right. Oh yeah, Shadow, speaking of the flooding in your basement or whatever, somebody in another server told me that, like, apparently Toronto had, like, record levels of, like, flooding in the area. So I'm guessing it's not just you that got fucked. A whole bunch of other people in Canada got fucked by flooding. God damn. God damn. Shit's fucked. The winter sky looks so lifeless.
どうしてだと思う？
Well, the sun's light is composed of 7 colors, the well-known colors of the rainbow. For those 7 colors to reach the human eye, they first have to pass through the Earth's atmosphere. When that happens, a phenomenon called scattering occurs. To put it simply, when light collides with the particles of the atmosphere, it gets refracted in several random directions. Since it gets refracted in random directions, it results in light traveling around a lot, and that's what makes it easily observable for people. The colors that scatter the most are purple and blue. That's why the sky is blue. I was so smart and impressed even myself sometimes. However, while my answer was based in scientific fact, Remy's came from emotions and romanticism.
きっと寒くてみんなが下を向いちゃうから。
No, Remy, you dumb motherfucker. There's no scientific evidence behind that. Okay? Science will bring me my presents.
青を望む人の数。
Santa, Jesse? Really? It feels like fewer people wish to see that blue. Fewer people wish to see that blue than ever. Well, like Remy had already said something like that before, but when exactly?
だから寒くても上を向いて歩こう。
Okay, very inspiring. I quickly changed clothes and then left the Kurenai conference hall building with Remy. Oh, that's the name of the building that we live on top of. I see. Going to school together for all intents and purposes. This was Nori shit. Shogun and Yua terrified me so much, I honestly wanted them to die. And I really meant that. Fucking KYS, both of you. And yet, thanks to them, I've been able to test out normiedom. Just, mods, let's fucking kill Shogun and Yua. Just fucking destroy them. Find out where they live. Send them into their own shipping containers. Murder them within them. Mods, can we send some delusions to them? Can we spy on them with satellites? Mods. Maybe I owed them more than I realize. I attempted to force myself to change how I felt about them, but Dr. Takashi's face resurfaced in my mind. My good mood was instantly blown away. My doctor had been killed, and it could very well have been because of me. Shogun had killed a doctor I knew well. Shogun had killed a doctor I knew well, all to set an example or provoke me. I was hit with a wave of pure anxiety and dread. I began to gradually fall behind Remy. Looking at her diagonally now, I glanced at the back of her head. What kind of expression could she be making? By the way, an alarm on my phone will be going off in about half an hour. And when it does, I have to do a thing, and we have to hope we don't get a phone call. If we get a phone call, we're fucked. Okay, we're fucked. Let's just hope we don't get a phone call. She was humming the song from the Phantasm CD I'd lent her the day prior. Her footsteps were light and bouncy. We weren't even talking, so why was she so happy? Seeing her like that, it helped alleviate my anxiety, if only a little bit. But it was probably time to be honest with myself. Why was Remy being so nice to me? Maybe the reason lay within the memories I had with her. Memories that were lost to me. Have you considered asking her about that? Mods, send them to Quebec. Get them out of here. Send them to Canada. Any part of Canada. Get them out. When we arrived at school, I let Remy go off on her own and made a break for the restroom. This was one of my secretly OP tactics. I felt bad since Remy had gone out of her way to pick me up, but coming to school with the girl would make me stand out. Especially if the DQNs in my class noticed. Who knew what terrible fate would be in store for me then? That was why I had taken a short break in the restroom. It would buy me enough time to make them think I'd come alone. And yet my mission ended in failure. What, she just do wait outside for me? Putting a nonchalant look on my face, I left the classroom and headed towards the classroom at the end of the hallway, keeping my head down all the way. As I made my way there, I spotted Ayase walking toward me. The moment our eyes met, Ayase's lips twisted into a thin smile. Hello. Hi. Hello. Hi. What's up? Ayase was a celebrity. I knew I'd be better off not talking to her when we were at school, as it would only make me stand out. Unfortunately, Ayase wasn't on the same page that I was, which she showed by choosing to stop directly in front of me. I had no choice but to follow suit.
匠、あれから警察はどう？
The cops? Don't worry. I nearly screamed, but I managed to cover my mouth with my hand. Why would you bring that up in public? There are people here. I looked around in a panic. The situation was already really bad. Unsurprisingly, Ayase was the center of attention. It was rare for her to come to school at all, and she was Phantasm's vocalist. And she was a beautiful androgynous woman. That last thing was pretty much a universal opinion, meaning both guys and girls alike were immensely interested in Ayase. And they all knew there was no way she'd be talking to an otaku freak like me under normal circumstances. The gazes surrounding me were painful and wanted to run away.
剣を探して。
Seek your sword. Is this what the kids say these days?
君はそうしなくちゃいけない。
What you must do. She always said the same thing every time we met. Ayase may have been on my side, but I was tired of her repeating the same bullshit over and over again like a broken record. I wanted to get it just as much as you wanted me to. I just don't know how.
ヒントが欲しい。
Give me a fucking hint.
君はどうやってあれを手に入れた？
What'd you do?
いつの間にかそこにあった。
There it was. she ever going to stop dodging the goddamn question?
気づかなかったわ、最初。でも、ちょっとだけ見方を変えたら、わかった。
What? Well, that's not helpful.
もしかしたら、匠にももう見えているのかも。
My sword?
見ていぬだけで。
What are you talking about? And she lost me. Conversing with the ISA always wore me out. Spare me the Zen cones, please.
剣は
Koans?
ちゃんと探してるよ。
Koans? I'm really trying to find the sword.
僕だって絶対手に入れたいから。
Unable to bear the piercing gazes for even a second longer, I gave ISA a short sigh of exasperation, then slipped past her and into the classroom. After all that, I became even more depressed. Some of the guys, Misumiku included, were staring at me in astonishment. Shit. They'd seen me talking to ISA. I was in deep shit right now. Who knew what they were going to say to me? I could deal with it if they just made fun of me a bit, but I was worried they'd go one step further and pick an actual fight with me just because I dared to talk to ISA. I really didn't need a demo of high school gang activity. I dropped my gaze and made my way to my seat, trying to bring the least possible amount of attention to me. I beg you, leave me alone.
Leave me alone!
Hey man, what the hell? Prayers were left unanswered from this fucker.
タク、てめえいつの間に今、岸本と話してたよな。
Yeah. Yeah. I had to remain silent. I couldn't allow myself to look up.
岸本が誰かとまともに会話してるとこ、初めて見たぜ。一体どんな手使ったんだよ。
What can I say, Misumi-kun? Some of us, it just comes natural. Some of us don't even have to try. What can I say? I got the otaku schizo-riz. I beg of you, don't yell so loud. It's echoing throughout the entire classroom. Please, just leave me alone. I have no intention of messing around with Ayase. Even if I wanted to, I'm not worthy of her anyway. Please stop. So please, stop making such a big deal out of this.
なあタク、教えろって。
大地
Daichin? Right then, Rimi interrupted him.
落ち着け。タクが困ってるでしょ。
悪い悪い。
Misumi-kun lowered his voice and clapped me lightly on the back. With my head still hanging low, I let out a small sigh. Rumi had come to save me yet again.
で、実際のところどうやったんだ。
How'd you do it, buddy? How'd you land it? I didn't know what I'd expected. This was the dude who only thought with the wrong head after all.
もう、大地ってほんと
No,
質素ないよね。
he absolutely does not.
そのうち彼女さんに刺されるんじゃない？
What can I say? Some people are into chinibios, you know? Some women, they look at, they're like, oh, you live in a shipping container? Oh my god, oh my god, you live like this? All the eroge and bento boxes that are weeks old? There's no bathroom in here unless that's a shit bucket in the corner? What's not to like about you?
心配すんなって。俺こう見えても各種ケアは欠かさねえから。
All the TLC she deserves.
何それ？
なあタク、教えろよ。岸本はどんな感じなんだ。
What'd you do? How'd you land it, buddy? Asking me once again, Misumi-kun started rubbing my shoulders. While I was reluctant about it, I timidly looked up. About half the guys in the classroom were taking quick glances at me and whispering to each other. Shit, they're still watching me. Don't look at me. Chills ran over the nape of my neck. If you were caught in a DQN's line of sight, you were finished. They'd never let you hear the end of it. All that awaited you was pure, unending hell. What should I do? Run away? Should I just skip classes and go home? I couldn't do that alone. The mere thought of running into Shogun and Yua left my legs paralyzed. Should I ask Rimi to go back home with me? She'd said before that she'd kept her promises, which meant that she'd stay by my side at all times. So if she really had been telling the truth before, she'd surely skip class with me. Regardless, I needed to get out of the classroom as soon as possible. Suddenly, a really loud sound came from the entrance. Everyone immediately turned their gazes towards it, trying to figure out what was going on. It's this girl again. It was the transfer student. Rubbing her forehead with tears in her eyes, she bowed silently to everyone around her again and again. Did she walk into the fucking door? The entire classroom had fallen silent. What the hell?
今の見たか
No?
見た。一人で勝手に扉に激突してたね。
How does that happen?
やっぱ梢ちゃんは可愛いな。
What? How does that even happen? If the clumsy girl archetype actually existed IRL, she certainly fit the bill. And then she dies.
また泣いた。大丈夫かな。すごい音してたけど。
That did sound like it was fucked. With worry in her voice, Rumi ran up to the transfer student before anyone else could. Whoa, cheap viewers, you don't say. How about you get out of here? How about we execute Silky Deus? How about we just find their home and just, dox them? How about we just ban them, is what I mean to say. Did I say dox? I meant, destroy them and whatever little spam farm they got going on over there, okay? How about we just find whatever computer is running the script for these spam bots, and then we just politely tell them to stop. That is, of course, what I meant. Yeah, that's it. That's all. Yes. Okay. She just couldn't help herself from getting involved. What a meddler. But I guess she was just that kind. Why do we get those, several times a day? I mean, at least once a stream we've been having those happen lately. Why does it happen in my stream? Why? What did I do for that? It's the same exact one every time, too. Well, not the same person, but the same message. Why me? She just couldn't help herself from getting involved. What a meddler. But I guess she was just that kind.
リミに先越された。待て待て。梢ちゃんを解放するのは俺だ。
Making his intentions clear, aka telling Rumi to back off, Misumi-kun ran over to the transfer student, albeit a bit late. Transfer student running into the door ended up being a blessing in disguise. The guys that had been staring at me up until then now shifted their attention towards her. Good job, transfer student. I'd have to thank her later. But right then, I happened to overhear what a group of girls near my desk were saying. Loud ass. What's wrong with her? She's doing this shit on purpose. Their whispers were faint, but I knew exactly what they said. Alright, what's next?
視界にはデッドスポットと呼ばれる通常は使用されることのないいくつかの神経チャンネルが存在することをご存知ですか
Are you familiar with the dead spots?
それが第二世代と何か関係があるのかね
The what?
そういうことになります。簡単な実験をしてみましょう。これをご覧ください。
Okay, I see them.
子供騙しを聞いている暇はないぞ。
重要なことですよ。
Quite relevant.
この図には左側にドット、右側にリングがあります。
Yep, I see it.
では、左目を手で覆って見えないようにしてください。
Okay. Okay.
そのまま右目だけで図の左側にあるドットを見つめてください。
Okay. And now I can't see the ring on the right when I do that. Is that the point of this?
ドットを見つめる目の端の方にリングも存在しますか
No, I'm not when I do that.
いくらドットだけを見つめていても、隣にあるリングがついでに見えているのは当然だと思うがな。
That's not true.
では先生、ドットだけを見つめたまま、モニターに顔を近づけていってみてくだ
What?
さい。
Wait, does he still see it when he does that? 'Cause I can't see the fucking ring. One sec. Am I understanding this right? Okay, cover your left eye so that you cannot see through it. Then, using only your right eye, gaze at the dot on the left side. What do you see? Despite staring at the dot, Are you still able to perceive the ring on the edge of your vision? I mean, I'm not, but... Okay, maybe if it's, like, further away? No, I can't see it anymore still. If I manually look forward, after looking to the left for a bit, then I see the ring, but... Okay. But please continue staring at the dot, but now move your face closer to the monitor. I mean, when I do that, then I can see the ring. But this guy was saying no matter how much you stare at the dot, it's only natural for you to still be able to reserve the ring adjacent to it. But that's the opposite of what I just had happen. It's, I can't see it, but if I move closer, then I can see it. Am I doing it wrong?
Oh, これは
Probably doesn't work for me because I'm on a tiny screen. Oh yeah, probably also because of the hold on. Because of the scene I have this on right now, right? If I do like desktop only, now it's a little bigger for you. Try it now. Try it now. I'll even get rid of that too. Although I don't know if it helps. Again, what happens for me is when I do it just sitting in my chair, the ring goes away if I cover my left eye. And if I move closer, then I can see it. But I feel like that's not supposed to be what the game is telling me is supposed to happen. I feel like that's not supposed to happen like that. Alright, I'm switching back. I feel like that's not supposed to be what's supposed to happen. I don't know what the point, but we'll see.
興味深いね。
Incredibly interesting indeed.
右側のリングが消えた。
But again,
So
it vanished for me and then appeared again when I moved closer for me. Am I just doing it wrong? What am I doing wrong?
これは視界が狭まったからではありません。その証拠に、さらにモニターに近づくことで、リングはまた視界に現れます。
Oh. Wait, hold on. Wait. Is it so you can see it? Okay, if I move backwards, I can see it. And then at a certain point, I can't. Oh, okay. I see. So, okay, wait, yes. So if you look at this, if you cover your left eye, try to look at the dot, and try to see if you can still see the ring. Apparently, if you're like further back, you might be able to see the ring still. When you move forward a bit, it'll go away. And if you move even further, it comes back. Okay. I understand now. I understand everything now. We've understanding the little illusion trick here, okay? The optical illusion going on. All right, let's continue with whatever he's trying to explain.
これは一体どんなトリックだ
What sort of sorcery is this bullshit?
いいえ、トリックの類ではあり
No
ません。
trick.
普段は使用されていないですが、人間が元から持っている目の機能の一つですよ。
The ability to ignore shit.
これはデッドスポットと呼ばれ、
Dead spot.
ノアによって人間の視界の中に無から有を作り出す際に使用するチャネルなのです。
They're going to use that to create something from nothing. After class finished, I found myself standing still at the school entrance. Twilight was beginning to encroach upon the sky, and a few crows were flying across it, flapping their wings without so much as a caw. It was her turn to clean the... I was waiting for Remy. It was her turn to clean the classroom, so she was taking longer than usual. We hadn't promised to go home together today, but I was sure we would. So waiting for that to happen, I'd been staying there for over 15 minutes. I had no idea how the day would go this morning, but I'd managed to make it through it with fairly little trouble. Isumi-kun was so desperate to talk with the transfer student that he dropped the subject about me and ISA entirely. I owed it all to the transfer student, really. Alright, what was the last one we did? We did a negative one last time, so we do positive. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no, she's here. Speak of the devil, there she was, passing right next to me. With a face that looked like she was about to cry, she bowed her head to me. Despite how uncomfortable I felt, I managed to nod back. I watched as she attempted to leave through the school gate, tripping over herself along the way. Once again, I thought about how small she was. She fit the lolly archetype to a T, and on top of that, she was a clumsy girl, too. I didn't know her very well, but her perfect blend of personalities made me want to shout from the rooftops. She was loaded with moe traits, and yet she didn't seem very popular with the other girls. What people valued in others really did differ between 2D and 3D, huh? My vision suddenly went pitch black, but something pushed against my eyes. What the hell? Oh, no fucking way! Could this be the legendary Who Is It game? The legend stated it only exists within the world of 2D, yet she'd said the classic line. Could it be? Could it well and truly be? I never thought I'd experience it in my lifetime. And as of right now, I'd basically won the game of life. No, hang on, calm down. There's no way I'd encounter an urban legend in the third dimension, surely. Right? What was I thinking? I was in a delusion. I had to be. I mean, it was an urban legend, aka something that nobody could confirm the existence of. Phew, almost had me there. I managed to regain my composure. If this was a delusion, I wanted to get back to reality ASAP. That way, I could just get it over with. Kind of like jumping into a lake or something. That way it hurt less. On the other hand, why don't I just indulge myself in this blissful fantasy for a little while? I'm sure Remy won't mind.
ヒントはね、名前にリがつく。
Starts with a re. Yeah. It's pretty obvious even without the hint. I could tell the moment she'd opened her mouth. After all, I was trained in the art of working out the voice actor just by hearing an anime character talk. That said, I wasn't a VA otaku or anything like that. This was just a natural stage of progression for anyone who watched anime.
あれ？わからない？
It's kind of tricky.
第二ヒント。名前にみがつく。
Ends with a me. Starts with re. Ends with me. You just gave away the answer. What a complete dunce. Then again, oh, Remy. You're so cute, Remy. There's a simple reason as to why I couldn't answer. While I obviously knew the answer, saying the name out loud was pretty damn embarrassing. Well, since it was a delusion, I should just play along.
Me.
ピンポーン。
Ping pong! Her hands released my face. I opened my eyes. Wait, but what about the other girl? I turned around and, to no surprise, found Remy standing there.
待たしちゃってごめんね。
Wait, what? I wasn't waking up from the delusion. Usually it would just end and I'd suddenly return to my senses. I tried pinching my cheek. No, wait. That's how you tell if you're in a dream, but dreams and delusions aren't all that different, so it's not entirely wrong to use that method, but ouch, my cheek hurts. What the fuck? Wait, was this actually real? Upon realizing this, I instantly became embarrassed. My face shot straight to the ground.
どうしたの？顔赤いよ。
No, in spite of her words, Remy's cheeks were dyed a light scarlet. But maybe that was just because the sunset was shining down on her. Maybe.
さあ、帰ろう。
Yeah, let's go. Let's go home. Spring Academy was in the high-end residential area of Shoto. Every house was huge, and the whole area just oozed with an air of success and affluency. Despite this being Shibuya, and still daytime at that, there were hardly any people around. This gave the area this forlorn, lonesome air.
タクって
Again, why? Why the radiator scene here? I keep seeing the dots.
意外とモテるよね。
Yeah, my popular times. Dying. I nearly died just then. What the hell is she talking about?
あれ自覚ない？
With a chuckle, Remy shot her index finger towards the tip of my nose. Don't point at people, it's rude, goddammit.
だってこの前はメガネかけた3年生の綺麗な人と一緒だったし。
あれは。
Yeah, I did that.
昨日聞いた。タクに意地悪する人だよね。
If you knew that, then why are you...
で、今日はあのフェスと話してた。
The Fess herself.
あと折原さん。転校してきた朝に真っ先にタクに声をかけてたよね。さらに今こうして私と一緒に帰ってる。
Yeah?
ほら、モテモテだ。
Yeah, you know, I mean, when you put it like that, Remy, it's hard to argue with you. Actually, I had been thinking about that recently. My life as a normie has begun. Are my popular times finally here? We did it, boys. We finally reached the line. We reached it. We reached the line. My popular times. They're finally here. We did it, boys. Everybody, it was nice to go on this journey with you. I think the story's done. I don't think we need to read any more of Chaos Head. We've reached the good end. Our popular times are here. We don't need to do any more. Stuff like that. Something that would have been absolutely unthinkable for me a month ago. Back then, I never had the chance to even talk to 3D girls, excluding Nanami, my sister, in the game. I always boasted about not being into 3D girls. Well, that was just to make myself look cool and indifferent. So Remy was definitely onto something. Why had my encounters with girls increased with such frequency lately? It all kicked off after the chat with Shogun. A scary thought suddenly crossed my mind. What if every single event in this past month had all been a delusion? What if I'd just been having a really, really long dream? Considering how insane everything was, I didn't think I'd be all that surprised if everything went right back to to normal tomorrow. Or maybe the person controlling me had swapped out with someone else. Maybe the previous one was happy just watching me go through the motions, but the new one preferred to interact with other characters, or something like that. Either way, the past one didn't feel entirely real to me. Way too many things had been happening.
っていうか、私今日初めて知ったんだけど、フェスって同じ学校だったんだね。
Yeah, she's there.
しかも同学年の隣のクラス。
Me and her were so close. I think I had a delusion about an orgy with her and like everybody else at the concert. It was fucking weird. It happens, Remy. It happens. Remy's voice was overflowing with excitement. I guess Remy was quite the trend chaser.
昨日タクから CD 借りたばっかりだから、すごくびっくりしちゃった。それにすごく可愛い子だし。
Remy circled around in front of me. While still facing me, she began to walk backward. Her voice got all quiet, and then she asked me a question timidly.
何話してたの？
Why do you want to know, Remy?
今朝、フェス、岸本さんと聞かせてほしいな。
Do you now?
私には聞く権利なんてないかもって思うけど。
Mm-hmm.
岸本さんと話してた時のタク、すごく思い詰めた様子だったから。
Mm-hmm.
なんだかし。
She'd seen completely through me. I guess it wouldn't be a bad idea to tell her everything. Wait. Alright, hold on 1 second. I gotta do the thing that I mentioned, and then we have to hope that we do not receive a phone call after I do this thing. I have to send something to someone, so give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. And we have to deal with that. Okay. 1 second. Can I get, like... We had to pick a quiet moment in the scene to do this? Really? Really? No music or anything? You're just gonna fuck me like this game? You're gonna make my stream awkward as shit? This stream is not cringe. Okay, I just want to let you guys know we are not cringe here. Just because I had to pause for a moment, okay? This is a cringe-free zone. We're only based. Very entertaining. You are thoroughly entertained right now. Okay? We're just that good. We're just that good. No, no, no. That's an extra 0. We do not do that. Okay. Okay, now, after this is sent, we have to hope we do not get a phone call. Because if you thought we got minus time there, we'll get even more minus time if we get a phone call after that. It will not be good. It will not be good. Okay. Okay. All right. All right, let's continue. Sorry again about that. I have to do that every, like, Tuesday night. All right. Wasn't like I had other people to talk to about it. Plus, agonizing over it on my own had gotten pretty exhausting. I'd appreciate another perspective. Not from someone who spoke in nothing but vague, ambiguous bullshit like ISA and Senna, but from someone that would give actual concrete answers to my concerns. Potentially another -2 moment? No, only +2s here. Only +2s. Okay, we only get +2s on this stream. Only +2s. But when we talked yesterday, she hadn't believed me at all.
話してたのは
Talking about
剣のこと。
the sword thing.
剣って昨日タクが言ってた
Yeah,
やつ
the D sword, the whole thing I was rambling to you about. I nodded.
綾瀬は持ってるんだ。
何を
Has one
本
what?
物を。
A real one. I wasn't completely sure, but thought I heard Remy taking a large breath. She staggered with her eyes wide open wide, and then, after taking a few steps back,
嘘だ
Nah, not true. You're lying. She shouted with a clearly skeptical
だ
voice.
ってあれおもちゃでしょ
だから僕のは
Yeah,
おもちゃだけ
mine
ど
was a toy.
彼女の
Hers is the
本
real
物で
thing. The real deal.
ライブ
Pretty
行け
sick.
ば見られ
I quickly realized that what I was saying and cut myself off. Would she even be able to see it? No, probably not. I mean, ISA had mentioned that only people with powers could see D swords.
ライブに行けばその本物の剣を見られるの
Maybe.
じゃあ今度行ってみようかなファンタズムのライブそのものも見たいし
This is where she asked us on a date, isn't it? She asked us to take her on a date to the Phantasm concert, isn't it? And then we're all fucked here, okay? It's all fucked.
タク一緒に行く
Yeah. If you want, if you want, just as friends, it doesn't have to be anything serious. Unless, it doesn't have to be anything more than that. Just, we're so in.
見られないかも。
Yeah,
限られた人にしか見
only
えない
certain
らしい
people
んだ
can see it. Chunies can see it, okay? You gotta get in the Chunie mindset, and then you might be able to see your D sword, okay? What the hell am I talking about?
そうなんだ裸の王様みたいなものかな
Sure.
じゃあ私バカだから見えないかもなんて
Well,
ね
I may be stupid, but actually, that was a good point. Come to think of it, I didn't know anything about what exactly a real D sword was, nor how it worked. I'd just been accepting everything ISA said without question.
そんな剣本当にあるのかなやっぱり私信じられないよタクが見たっていう岸本さんの剣も本物っぽく見えるおもちゃじゃないの
Well, how do you explain the cloning? How do you explain the lingerie cloning? Huh? These are words and sentences that make total sense, don't they, Remy? What about the lingerie cloning incident? And then she pulled the sword out of the fabric of space. What about that?
でも光ったし
Yeah, it was glowing. Come on.
おもちゃでも光るやつはいくらでもあるよ
Listen, this is different, okay? This is cooler. Well, she wasn't wrong. If you wanted something to glow, you could easily slap some lights onto it. But when I thought of the overwhelming sense of presence Senna and ISA swords had, their existence became harder to deny. They had an aura about them that no mere toy should have been capable of. And most of all, ISA had taken that sword out of thin air. I'd seen it with my own eyes. It wasn't anything simple like hypnosis or super speed. On top of that, I felt as if I'd only gotten to experience the tip of the iceberg.
僕には妄想を現実に投影する力があるかも。
Totally normal sentences. I had no definitive proof, but I tried throwing my thoughts at Remy regardless.
だから将軍に、狙われてる気がする。
That was the only possible reason he'd been targeting me. There was nobody more harmless than I was. Otakus were fundamentally harmless beings. We did shut ourselves away in our own little worlds, after all. I don't know if I would say they're fundamentally harmless. I don't know about that one, Chief. But whatever. If we had time to bother denizens of the third dimension, we'd rather spend that in our heads, flirting with adorable moe characters.
昨日調べてた特許のこと？タクはあんな装置持ってるの？
I shook my head.
そうじゃなくて、装置とかなくても力使えるかも。
Maybe.
タクからかってるんでしょ
？No.
わかった。何かの漫画かアニメが元ネタ？
Well, it's from a visual novel, but that's a more meta thing. Just as I'd feared, she didn't believe me. But I knew I'd experienced what I was talking about before, with that accident back in elementary school. I tried desperately to explain that to Remy. That I might have been a murderer. I knew Remy might abandon me if I confessed to her, but I couldn't hide it anymore. I wanted to tell someone. If I did, I could clear the uncertainty in my mind, even if just a little bit. Remy listened to my shaky explanation with a troubled look on her face, remaining silent the entire time. And after I finished talking...
考えすぎだよ。
Yeah, she's right. She nonchalantly laughed the whole thing off.
そう考えてることだってタクの妄想なんだよ。わかってる？
Yeah, well... Okay, well, I mean, that's fair, but how do you explain the cloning lingerie situation, okay? You gonna tell me that's a delusion? I mean, it sounds like it. It very much sounds like it was. What about Shibuya being an empty street and I'm just seeing a dude in a wheelchair? What about that? Was that... I mean, it sounds like a... But you know, you're making too much sense here, Remy. You're making a little too much sense. Where's the plot in the story if I'm just crazy the whole time? You ever think about the entertainment value here, Remy? Did you ever think about that? Was I really overthinking it? That was a nice thought. But even with that theory, the uncertainty in the depths of my mind hadn't cleared at all. Oh, smell of dust wafted through an office. An office situated at the second floor of a somewhat old building. Sunlight streamed in through the window covering the back wall, turning the fluttering dust into that of a thin, powdery snow. The words plastered onto the window, Frisia Credit Bureau, cast a shadow onto a nearby desk. 20 desks were lined up across the floor, with not even a hint of a gap between them. Each one was drowning in an endless sea of documents, papers, and files. Piles stacked so high, they looked to be on the verge of collapsing. From an outsider's perspective, it looked far more like a publishing company than a credit bureau. Most of the desks lacked denizens. There were only around 5 to 6 people at best. As for why that was, the obvious conclusion would be that it was a Saturday, but this is by no means the answer. This was made evident by the whiteboard stuck to the wall near the entrance, its schedule densely packed with tasks and projects. Nearing the end of his lunch break, Ban Yasuji opened the door to the private investigation company. He entered without so much as a knock, yet none of the workers seemed to bat an eye. Continuing to act as if he belonged there, Ban gave a quick, "How's it going?" and headed towards the desk in the back of the room. In it sat a robust-looking woman, hunched over her laptop.
Oh, Momo-chan, genki?
Hey, Momo, what's up? The entertainment value comes from you being a delusional freak. I come up with pretty fucking creative delusions. So, hey, Momo-chan, how's it going? In response, the woman continued staring at her monitor with a weary expression. Her name was Momose Katsuko. She was the president of Frisia. Look who's back. Look who came crawling back.
ニュージェネについての新ネタない。
たく、私は忙しいのよ。抱えてる案件が5万とあるの。うちみたいな零細企業は土日返上で仕事しなくちゃいけないの。わかる？
Momose finally raised her head. She placed a hand on her forehead, and upon seeing Bond's grinning face, lightly shook her head.
ここは警察の秘密組織でも子会社でもないって何度も言ってるでしょうに。
Get the hell out of my office. I got shit to do, Bond.
ただで情報もらえるなんて虫のいいこと考えてるんだろうけど、ここに来てる暇があるなら自分の足で何とかなさいな公務員さん。または依頼料を払うこと。予約表はみおちゃんにもらってちょうだい。
相変わらず冷てえ社長だな、おい。
Come on, we're friends, we're pals, buddies. We don't need money, right? In spite of Momose's sharp remarks, Bond didn't show a hint of concern. He simply fanned himself with his distinctive handheld fan, remaining aloof as could be.
この会社立ち上げるときにはあんなに協力してやったのにな。
You're breaking my heart.
バンちゃんも恩着せがましい人だわね。何年同じことを言い続ければ気が済むわけ？
Yeah, me there.
じゃあ依頼料はこいつでどうかな。
Ooh, he's got a retaining fee? Bond showily pulled out a plastic bag with the name of a nearby Japanese-style confectionery store on it.
なんだ。
Oh, we brought sweets.
出してよ。いつも悪いわね。
Oh, of course. Oh, you're always welcome here, Best friend Bond. Bon-chan. Welcome back, my compadre. Yeah, get us some tea, will you? Get him a water. Her attitude having undergone a swift, stark change, Momose closely examined the contents of the bag Bon had handed to her. Chestnut yokan. Oh my god. See it, Bon-chan. Bon-chan. What are you still standing for? Sit down already. Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, Bon? Bond gave a wry smile, took a chair from the closest desk, and seated himself beside Momose. The clerical lady Momose had called for before. The clerical lady Momose had called for before. Okay, I'm not crazy. Brought over 2 steaming cups of tea. Any new tidbits on New Gen? Hold your horses. Why don't you fucking wait, Bond? Why don't you calm down and let me eat first? Let me eat my chestnut yokan. Momose carefully unwrapped the chestnut yokan, folded up the wrapper, and set it beside her PC. She then hurriedly devoured the first of the sweet treats. Japanese-style treats were her greatest weakness. They were a necessary offering for Bond to bring every time he came for information. I agree. So true.
人に言えた義理じゃないけどよ。ちったダイエットしたらどうだよ。でないといつまで経っても結婚できないぜ。
本当に人に言えた義理じゃないわね。私はもうとっくに今期は逃したわよ。
With a shrug of her shoulders, Momose took a sip from her tea, then turned to face Bond.
また新しいニュージェネ事件起きたわね。こんなところでサボってていいの？
そっちの調査は俺以外の全員が真剣に取り組んでるさ。
Let them do their jobs. I don't gotta do that.
俺は別のアプローチから真実に迫ってやる。
こっこつけちゃって似合わないわよ。
Knowing himself to be quite sensitive to hot drinks, Bond showed no hint of reaching for his cup. He simply continued to fan his face, in spite of the already chilly air. It was something of a habit of his.
警察は G レートの線追ってるの？
そうそう。
Oh, right. The GE rate.
ありゃすごいな。ももちゃんの話の通りだった。
How'd you know that, Momo-chan? Why'd you look into that?
私が嘘の情報を渡すわけないでしょうに。これでおまんま食べてるんだから。
There's a fucking batshit info tip for this case. How did you even know that?
それで？
まあ、勝手に調べてるよ。
勝手にって。ちょっとばんちゃん
What? Momose's voice carried well. Her personality was intrinsically energetic, lending her voice quite a bit of volume. The workers of Frisia were used to this, not even batting an eye as her angry voice reverberated throughout the office. The boss's yelling was an everyday occurrence after all. Bon and Momose were old friends, so he was all too familiar with being on the receiving end of it. Thus, much to her chagrin, Momose's wrath was only met with him lazily picking at his ear. Before she said anything else, Momose quickly lowered her voice, for this was a topic she did not want met with prying ears. But her face was red with anger, as if she had not been cheerfully stuffing herself with sweets just moments before. She pointed her finger at Bon-chan with tremendous intensity.
個人で追うのは危険だって言ったじゃない。政治に宗教に企業、どれだけ根深く関与してると思ってるの？
What the fuck?
この間
What are
テ
you
レビ
talking
で
about?
G レートの講義をやった太田教授がどうなったか、あんたもよく知ってるでしょ。
Professor Ota? Who?
貼り付けで殺された被害者だろ？何度も聞いたよ。
What? I completely forgot who was killed in that case. Did they mention before? This professor guy? I didn't remember that. Or maybe it was mentioned in passing during the presentation meeting thing.
何度でも言ってやる。
Apparently, he got killed for talking about it.
あんたはいつも私の忠告を無視するんだから。それでいつも尻拭いさせられるのは私なんてたまったもんじゃないわ。
Jesus Christ. Easy.
まあまあ、そうかなるなって。
Tea's getting cold.
落ち着いたら
Ignoring both Bon and her tea, Momose tossed a second chestnut yokon into her mouth in a huff.
大丈夫だって。一応諏訪と一緒に動いてるんで。
To an extent.
今はまだ G レートやら何やらってのは突飛すぎて上を説得できねえなよ。
諏訪ちゃんは確かに有能だし、しっかりしているけど、無理させたら承知しないわよ。
ももちゃんはいつから諏訪の保護者になったんだ？
バンちゃんの無謀な行動に未来ある若者が巻き込まれるのはかわいそうでしょうに。
ああ、そうか。
Fair enough, fair enough. Okay, all right. I was just making sure I didn't, forget a thing that they were saying. Okay. With a shrug of resignation, Bon took a testing sip of his tea, only to immediately grimace. It was still too hot.
しかし、バイオリズムが人を殺す凶器になるなんてこと、本当にありえるのかね？
前に説明したでしょうに。
実はいまいち理解しきれてねえんだわ。それって、ももちゃんお得意の電磁波と関係してるの？
Why does she specialize in EM waves? Momose let out a sigh, then, in contrast to Ban, composedly sipped at her tea.
満月の夜の事件簿はよく知ってるでしょ？
まあな。
Sure, a little bit. A vast influx of incidents and accidents would always occur on the night of a full moon. This is no urban legend either. One need only glance at the Tokyo Metropolitan Police statistical records.
その満月以上の力でバイオリズムカーブが上昇したらどうなると思う？
興奮するってことだろ？
それだけ？渋谷は特殊な街なのよ。言ったでしょ？ G レートが高ければバイオリズムカーブは上昇する。
Okay.
しかもその上昇値は満月の夜に影響する数値のおよそ6800
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
なんとも想像しにくい数字だな。
It's a big number.
比べ物にならないくらいすごいって考えとけばいいわ。
It's a fucking big number.
しかし、なんで今なんだい？
殺された太田教授が言っていたのは GE レートが半年前から急に増加しているせいってことね。
Rapidly.
地層の構造に大きな変化が起きない限りそんなことはありえないそうだけど。
変化ね。
そう駅前のスクランブル交差点で火山が噴火するほどのエネルギーが必要なの。
Jesus Christ.
火山？そんなに大きな力なのか？
それくらい今の GE レートはありえない状況なのよ。
それを世間に訴えようとした教授はニュージェネで殺された。
事件の前日に教授が出演する予定だったテレビ番組が急遽放送中止になった話知ってる？
確かか。
知り合いに MHK に勤めている人がいて聞かされたの。
国営放送の番組に圧力かけられる立場なんてそうそうないぜ。
そう。
私も詳細についてはわからないわ。知ってたらとっくに告発してるだろうし。
Bond leaned forward, intrigued.
俺でも大体予想はつくさ。この際はっきり言っちゃってよ。
本気で聞きたい？社会の暗部に踏み込むことになるわよ。
Society.
いいの？
Absolutely sure.
バンちゃん、クビになるかもしれない。
Might get fired. I don't think Bond gives a fuck.
俺はニュージェネ事件の犯人さえ捕まえられりゃ
I don't care where I go.
いいんだけどね。
That's our boy. That's Bond. I like Bond. He's
どうす
chill.
るか答えを聞いてから考えるわ。
Sipping her tea, Momose tapped away at her laptop keyboard with her free hand. Displayed on the screen was a single document. It contained a list of information Momose had personally looked into.
明和党。
The Meiwa Party. Fictional, one of the two major political parties in Japan. 4 years ago, the Meiwa Party was an opposition party, but that changed following a major breakthrough in the general election that year. Its catchphrase is a brighter peace for the people, as the two kanji used in its name, Mei and Wa, mean peace, bright and peace, respectively.
ももちゃん、勘弁してくれ。俺はてっきり野党の名前が出てくると思ってたんだがな。よりによって。
The opposition party. Bond groaned in utter exasperation. Yet despite his smile, his eyes showed not even a hint of one. All they housed now was the cold, discerning gaze of a detective.
下手したらこの国が揺らぐぜ。
Rip. It's all fucked now. Since it was the weekend, I'd been unable to get Remy to come over, so I was forced to spend 2 very anxious days all by myself. I had Remy pick up some groceries on Friday so I could survive the weekend without leaving my base. But I had come very close to sending her a text asking her to come over multiple times. But in the end, I hadn't sent anything. The only thing that gave me a break from my anxiety was the half hour I'd spent watching the latest episode of Bloodtoon. Even in extreme circumstances such as this one, I still had to make sure to stay up to date on Bloodtoon. Remy was my sole source of comfort in the third dimension. But when it came to the second one, Bloodtoon was the one that fulfilled that role. Well, to be more specific, Seiratan was. After I'd finally overcome that weekend, Monday came. I took a peek at Freepada's Phantasm section, only to find it in a state of complete disarray. Wasting no time, I immediately followed a link taking me to @channel. It was a total shit show. Oh my god, I'm trying to read these. Okay, Fess from Phantasm was hospitalized in the past. An anonymous reader. Fess of Phantasm's real name is Kishimoto. Okay, that's true. When she was younger, she was hospitalized for mental illness reasons. The name of the hospital was AHM. Phantasm is over. What? We're canceling the band for having mental illness issues in the past? What the fuck does that matter? I mean, it is like, what, 2007, I guess? So I guess it'd be judgmental of that kind of thing. Cool story, bro. Too bad it's total BS. Deets, please. Whose eyes are those eyes? LOL. Who the fuck is Fess? Are you serious? Lol, AHM is only meant for patients with severe mental disorders, FYI. SRS, short for serious. Often used as an expression of disbelief. Example, you serious? For fuck's sake, more haters? What a poor attempt at bait. If you're gonna bother making a thread like this, at least include a source. Fail. This is such bullshit. Fess has never been in that dumbass hospital. How do you even sleep at night spreading such obvious slander? I've never even heard of AHM before. Stop making shit up. The one watching you was I, Fess. Strike the stake, strike the stake, strike the stake right into those dumbasses spouting bullshit. The next new gen victim is gonna be one of you bastards. One's claim is legit. Fess was hospitalized for a very long period of time for mental health reasons. The hospital publishes a free newspaper in which a selection of drawings, essays, and poems and other works done by patients are shown. Her song lyrics can be found there. You can find all of this on the website's hospital's website, dipshits. Full name is Kishimoto Ayase, AHM, Arc Heart Medical. Okay, I'm already calling bullshit on this because no shot. You're telling me this hospital is posting its patients' works with like their names and shit on them? This is what you're telling me? I mean, maybe if they're just like comparing the lyrics from her songs then to her lyrics now, that'd be one thing. But now they're saying her full name is doxed from it too? Is this going on here? But also, I don't know if that hospital should have been posting it, like, I mean, this is fictional, but like if this was kind of thing was happening in real life, pretty sure you should not be posting anything that your patients make or whatever onto like the website like that, like essays and poems and shit. It's like I would feel like that'd be some kind of like what is it, like revealing private like patient information, medical information things, whatever the. And then there's a link, archeart-m.com. I wonder if that's a website you can go to. Hold on, wait. archeart-m.com. Nope, site can't be found. But you know what that means. You could probably buy the URL. That'd be funny. We could buy that URL. Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be a good meme? For what, I don't know, but you'd have it redirect to something probably, but I don't know what the meme would be here. No, like barely anybody's gonna know this reference, so I don't even know what the point of buying it would be. Finally, you know what I should do? I should buy the URL and have it point to my VOD channel, specifically the playlist of me playing Chaos Head. So then if anybody else like me is reading Chaos Head and they try to go visit the website, they'll see my playlist. That'd be fun. That'd be good. That I might consider. That might be funny. That might be funny enough to try. I doubt we'd get like barely anybody to do it, but that would be funny if they did. That'd be really funny. All right, finally. Is that seriously all it takes for you guys to abandon her? Well, it's just fine by me. Just means I've got fewer rivals now. Fest 10 will be mine. See y'all at the wedding. Finally. Wait, Lamau? It was actually true? What the fuck, lol? Yes, yes, yes. Hell yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, I declare flame war. There's even pictures? I'm gonna piss myself laughing. Notice of Phantasm's termination. Is Phantasm gonna disband because of this? I used to like Fest quite a bit, sexually. I just want to clarify. I used to like Fest, sexually, of course. You know, sexual. Not any other way. I won't listen to your music. Flame War. A lengthy, heated discussion on the internet, hence the name. Flame Wars can start on any number of topics, from politics, to website updates, to simply a new outfit for a character. Yes, 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 yes. It must be someone's guidance too, LMAO. 12. The verses there aren't even used in Phantasm songs, are they? Wait, so the lyric from the songs in the past aren't even used in the current songs. So then it has to be that the hospital is literally also doxing their names too. That's not supposed to happen. Is there different laws in Japan for that kind of shit? I don't know. The one watching you was I, Kishimoto Ayase. Don't quit, Fess. I'm seriously gonna cry. I think I sorta understand it. They say there's a fine line between genius and insanity after all. Band breakup flag, what the fuck? For the win. Tonight the black mass cometh. Lolly Festan. Why did we add Lolly as a tip? Oh no. Short for Lolita, a young girl with a childlike appearance. Thank you for that. Well, that sets Phantasm's fate in stone. For what it's worth, I guess this is a more fitting end for them than going mainstream. That's true. Any comment from Fess yet on their official website? Doesn't matter how much noise you virgins make on here. Fess doesn't look at the past, only the future. Can't wait for her next prophecy predicting all your deaths. BRB, putting on my lawler skates. Okay, what's the problem? True! What the fuck? Why do we care? 9 and 11. This reeks of some weird advertising scheme by Phantasm. Despite you desperate to keep your dead band alive much, LOLOL. It was always that Fess is a total schizo. Why is everyone acting like this is a surprise at all? So Fess always was mentally ill. But that's what's good about her. Calm down, everyone. This is all just some magnificent bait from Festan. Fess's spirit collapsed because the world is full of ill will. Its power awoke the punk part of her soul. Those keen, aggressive lyrics are the cry of sublimated soul. We, on the contrary, should celebrate the facts bared by 12 as holy grace. The website's down. Are you trying to bail? Or the website's down. Are they trying to bail? Oh, wait. When I tried to go to the website, it also wasn't up too. Did they own the domain and they just don't host anything on it? Well, the URL 12 had sent. Okay. Go to it. Oh, okay. It's up now. On here. Arc Heart Medical. Overview about... wait. Next level meme. If I buy the URL, okay? Next level meme. I build the website exactly like how it looks here, and then if you click any of the links, it goes to my playlist of Chaos Head. Next level meme right there, okay? There we go. We add more to it. We add even more to it. Like that. Okay, Arc Heart Medical Center. Or Arc Heart Medical. Arc Heart Medical is an organization that seeks to guide children the right way of life by providing them with good role models and a wonderful natural environment to learn and grow in. Overview about us, annual events, dormitory information, our facilities, childcare information, transportation access, our young patients art gallery, and contact us. Apparently, Arc Heart Medical was a old school psychiatric facility that only treated severe cases of mental illness. Or at least, that was what the website said. The website had pictures of the place, and frankly, it looked like a straight-up penitentiary. There were iron bars on every single window. I wasn't even sure if it was still open or not. The homepage hadn't been updated for 4 years or so. But just as the poster naturally said, beneath a certain poem was the name and photo of a young Ayase. Name and photo? Bro! What is this shit? The docs! What is this? Bro! Bro, you can't do that! What are you doing? You can't do this! What? What are you... Wait, what? What? Ayase was mentally ill. Alright, let's read a bit of the poem. Or song lyric, or whatever. The shadow of the wicked heart lurks within that body. A presence which the eye cannot perceive. Even if I try to split asunder. Even if I try to split asunder. Perpetual nightmares alas take shape. And eventually become a sword. A D-sword? One that will tear this body apart. Should they bear the shield of apathy, ye souls shall escape the flames of war. On a battlefield reborn, come foes with malice in their hearts. Ill will, without compare. When that time comes, malice shall possess its own will, and thus reveal its true form. It wasn't that it was shocking to me or anything like that. After all, I'd regularly gone to the mental hospital too, back when I was in elementary school, so really I felt sympathy for her. Ayase and I were the same. She had the bewitching aura to her, and every person my age in Shibuya thought she was so charismatic. But despite how different that made us, in this one way, we were the same. The fact that we had that in common reinforced my hypothesis that I had the same power she did, the power to project delusions onto reality. It wouldn't be wrong to say that it gave me some courage, maybe even strength. Though, there was one problem. Up until now, I had taken everything Ayase had said at face value, but that might have been a mistake. I mean, yeah, now you know it just might all have been her being crazy too. I mean, I don't know. Things about how to acquire a D-sword. Things about how getting my hands on one could save me. It wasn't the phenomenon she'd showed me that was making me doubt her, but the words she'd said. I wasn't sure whether or not to believe her. Maybe... Oh. Sudden ringing on my phone startled me. I forgot we had a phone in this game. You could always count on them, take you by surprise. I nearly pissed myself. That was why I hated these things. The loud ringing refused to stop, so I clicked my tongue and grabbed it. It was probably Nanami calling me. She was probably just calling me to bitch about whatever random bullshit was bothering her. Kill me now. Annoying as could be, I pressed the accept call button and held the phone to my ear, without checking who was calling. Probably not a good thing to do here for this guy, but, you know. I had no idea why I did that. After everything I'd been through, why the hell had I not checked the caller's number? Oh shit. Is this bullshit again? What came from the other side of the line was a certain melody playing loudly. You may pass. I frantically checked the number on the display. Yeah, it's the same number. Shit, I knew I should have checked. It was them, but how? It said it wasn't in use anymore. When I'd had Nanami call the number to check, that one no displayed. Maybe the prankster had reactivated it. What do I do? Panicking, I turned towards the center of my room. Surely Remy would be there, ready to give me some advice. It's the weekend still, so she's not going to be here, right? But she obviously wasn't. Of course she wasn't. Remy was at school. Oh, it's not the weekend. It's just a school day that was skipped. Remy was at school right now, in the middle of class. I told her in advance that I wouldn't go to school today, so she hadn't come to pick me up. As I freaked out trying to figure out what the hell to do, You May Pass kept on playing from my phone. A whole minute had already passed. From the small amount I had listened to earlier, I could tell there were other sounds mixed in with the song. Few things I could make out were the sounds of car engines and people walking. Whoever was calling me, they had to be outdoors. But who the hell was calling me? I could only think of one person that would pull a prank like this. Shogun. Now, really freaking out, I looked at Seiraten, who was standing next to my PC screen. Please, Seiraten, save me. Seiraten smiled at me, just as she always did. She's back. She's back! Seiraten's back. We're saved, boys. Yeah, that sounds good. I should have done that from the beginning. What'd you say, just ignore it? Yeah, why don't you turn it off? Put my thumb on the button to end the call. But for some reason, before hanging up, I felt the undeniable urge to listen to You May Pass just one more time. Just for a little bit longer. Oh, that's not good. It felt strange, even to me. It creeped me out. There was no reason I should have hesitated even remotely, and yet, I, almost subconsciously, gripped my phone and brought it to my ear. It is not good. Not good, boys. Not good. It came surging out of the phone. A fierce pain. A violent, piercing, nearly ultrasonic noise. That sound shot throughout my entire body. It was as if lightning had struck my head. My entire body was paralyzed. I screamed as loud as I could, yet I couldn't hear my own voice. Boiling. My brain, my heart, they boiled, they bubbled, they melted into mush. Pain crawled from deep within my body, tearing me apart. My consciousness liquefied and coursed through my veins, and when it finally arrived at my heart, it erupted in a resounding explosion, then vanished. Overwhelmed by those horrific sensations, I was unable to figure out what was going on. I could no longer even think. Yes, please stop that sound. Please stop that sound. That was a very annoying sound. I was getting really creeped out that whole time, okay? When Kusunoki Yua slowly opened her eyes, she saw her class, Class 3B, enveloped in pure chaos. Oh no. What's going on? Several students had collapsed. Their eyes had rolled back into their heads. Foam bubbled from their mouths as their entire bodies convulsed. Another group of students were crouched low to the floor, cowering, pressing down on their heads in pain. The students that remained shot up from their seats and made straight for the hallway, even though classes were technically still in session. The teacher was too focused on taking care of the students that had collapsed to pay those who left any attention. All the students that had run away were screaming in terror, but none of that seemed to register within Yua's mind. Her phone had been vibrating in her skirt pocket for a while now. Once she finally realized that, Yua slowly reached for it. She attempted to stand up but was unable to keep steady. It fell from her chair. Staying low to the ground, she leaned against the wall. After she put her glasses back in place, Yua pressed the accept call button and held her phone to her ear. Don't do that!
Hi.
Hello? Yeah.
Hi.
Yes.
は
Ah, I see.
はい
Yeah?
一応大丈夫です。
Yeah. As she answered the question, Yua grimaced and pressed on her forehead. She could hear the clamor of her classmates in the hallway, as well as the voice of her teacher trying to help the unconscious students, but it all sounded so terribly distant.
はい。あなたは、はい。はい。そうですか。
Then that means... Suddenly, Yua went pale. With a gulp, she covered her phone with her hand and brought her voice low. Her voice had very clearly been shaking. Is this me? Is this like different personality took over Takemi's body and is calling her now? What's going on here?
そんなわけないんです。だって、本当は。
Upon saying that much, Yua's voice began to falter. She hung her head.
本当は、私
What?
だったのに。
What? Yua, what the hell are you talking about? The commotion in the hallway intensified. Everyone was looking and pointing in the same direction, anxious expressions on their faces. The windows in the hallway rattled as if they were being hit by a fierce gale.
はい。そうです。私の
What the fuck is happening?
妹です。
My sister?
はい。わかりました。
What? You have a sister? Wait, what? Last, Yua bowed her head as if the person she was speaking to was right in front of her, then hung up the phone. Then, she looked up and directed her gaze towards where everyone was pointing, beyond the window.
空が
The sky? What the hell's happening? It was as if a seal of white paint had coated the surface of a grand lake. The sky, which had previously been filled only by its light blue color, was turning white. The white was spreading at an impossible speed. It bled rapidly across the sky, eroding each and every speck of blue it could find.
白く染まっていく。
Not good. What's going on, Takemi? Oh, Chapter 6! We'll find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Oh my god, Bond's here. Hello, Bond. Well, Bond, I can't wait to find out what happens next time. How long were we streaming? About 3.5 hours. Okay, yeah, if I go to the next chapter, we'll be going until like fucking 3 a.m. here, and I don't feel like doing that. So, we will continue more of this next time on Dragon Ball Z. Everything is fucking dying now, okay? It's not just my delusions anymore. The whole fucking world is losing it. The whole fucking world is losing it now. Not just me. We're not the only crazy ones anymore. Oh my god. Now, we're gonna wrap up for tonight. Anybody I know that's online? Literally nobody is online. Why is nobody ever online? Ever. Why is nobody ever online ever? Why is nobody ever online ever? Well, wait. Is this person online still? Oh my god, they are. Alright, I'm gonna send you guys to this person. Alright, I will talk to you all probably next week for Chaos Head. Probably gonna be next Wednesday or whatever for Chaos Head. Unless something else changes this week and I decide to do more Chaos Head this week, but probably not. And I think... What do I have planned? I don't have anything planned for tomorrow. There may potentially be a late night stream tomorrow. It might just be me playing some more of Jak and Daxter to finish up that playthrough, maybe. So potentially tomorrow we might be doing something else, but otherwise, expect the book club stream on Thursday night to be the next stream that we do. So, anyways, you guys go have fun, and I will talk to you all later. Bye, gamers. Stay safe. Try not to lose your minds.